following is intended only for mature audiences. Viewer discretion advised.
1, 2, 3, Rain, talk to me. We're gonna hit a beat and talk about my Eve. Everybody don't know what I say.
God.
I'm gonna do a beat.
Make it
Why,
stop.
Rain?
It's
Why?
time to stop.
Why did you do this?
There you go.
Rock, paper, scissors, right? We don't want Eve to be as simple as shut the fuck up, Seto!
Tons of like memes and these small gamers are like, we're the elite of the elite. Do not fuck with us. We will kill you. We are the best players ever. It's like, dude, I did your shit. I did it better than you did. And it's like, yeah.
You know what this conversation is like? When I say not enough super die in Delft, and people tell me, oh, look, there's a super die in Delft. So it's like, when I'm
What are
talking
you
about
even
the balance
talking
issue,
about? We were talking about fucking balance, not supers
Yeah.
dying in Delft.
Look,
Why does
look.
everything with you have to be about supers fucking dying in
Shut
Delft?
up! Shut up!
Christ.
It's an analogy, moron. It's an analogy. Okay?
You guys stop arguing. You act like a fucking married couple. Jesus
It's-
Christ.
No, don't stop arguing.
It's an
Well, it
analogy.
is Trash Talk Tuesday.
I was like,
We live yet?
I like the soundtrack at the start.
Yes, we're live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Trash Talk Tuesday. As is tradition, we start out the stream with an introduction to the show. If you're not familiar with how the show works, we bring on random people from all across space into a Discord channel, broadcast their voices live on twitch.tv, and we have a lot of fun with it. You can also join the Discord and be broadcast live on twitch.tv by clicking the link in the chat. And as Sticky Leper says, and the PandaFam propaganda begins. So tonight we're joined by quite a few people. We've got 12 of us in here, as well as our regular hosts with the most. And tonight we've got a pretty interesting show for you. As it turns out, fighting for every inch of something actually means just giving it up. That's what I've heard. Can anybody confirm this?
It's just one iHub.
Which is it though?
An iHub? Okay. Anyways, we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about some pretty disgusting collusion happening in the free-for-all tournament that's going on right now. It's not a tournament, I guess. And we're also, I guess, going to have a nice friend on to talk about the Alliance Open if he comes back from being AFK. So how's everybody doing tonight? Chat, and they're in the channel. You guys doing okay? You want to introduce yourselves? Are we doing that tonight?
Well, I'm pretty
What?
upset because I can see a picture of Jay Amazingness on the stream, but I don't see his beautiful face here.
Well, Jay Amazingness has a permanent seat in the portrait window here, so he's welcome to
poking him
come
now.
on whenever he wants. He just never does, so it's
It's
kind
like-
of sad.
Jay and chat a lot, like my chat, this chat, other people's chats, but I never actually see him in game. Does he actually play the game?
I think he does.
Yeah, he
I think he
does. He
does.
does.
Is there like a
Very
bar or
frequently.
something he's on to prove?
He doesn't FC, but he is like he's one of our super FCs, so
He
like he
has
doesn't get to use
been-
it a lot.
He has been FCing recently. He's been doing.
I see him in the game every day.
Is that like a
he's been-
super delegate? Like they're just kind of never there until it's time for something.
No,
He's there every day.
He's been running fleets. Like, I mean, not like the main sack fleets or anything, but he's been doing like the slippery Pete's and stuff.
Yeah, that too.
He's a wonderful human being.
He's more of
He
a war
is.
coordinator than anything. He's
And
kind of
I-
does a lot more in the background.
I wish that he'd come on the show, but he doesn't. So I guess we'll just break into the topics. So first, I want to talk about Fountain. So Fountain right now.
Why do you want to talk
is-
about Fountain? There's nothing happening in Fountain.
Look, Brisk. Look, you and I both know what's happening in Fountain, or what's not
Nothing
happening
is happening
in
in
Fountain.
Nothing is
Okay.
happening in Fountain.
Yeah,
Nothing
Bastion's
happened in
defending
Fountain
their
today
shit.
at all.
Bastion. Bastion is defending their shit. But where is the initiative? Are you guys still
Helping
in
us
Fountain,
defend our
Brisk?
shit. No,
Before-
initiative's been showing up
We
helping
don't
us
live
every
in
time we
Fountain.
need them.
We've never lived in Fountain.
Before this
You've-
war started, when we like my corp and another corp were like deployed, just messing around in Fountain, having fun. We were actually more scared of Bastion. There's some guys in Bastion that are legit scary people. Very good at baiting, and nearly tackled my super a couple of times. There's a few guys in Bastion. Bastion gets like a bit of a tough hand dealt to them because everyone assumes they're all crabs. But there's actually some pretty spooky dudes in Bastion.
Well, to be fair, we are 90% crabs. The 10% of us
even-
that PvP, well, I think we're pretty good at it.
Even crabs
Dom
have
scares the
pincers,
hell
though,
out of
right?
me. I don't know about anybody else, but Dom scares me.
That's just because I'm weird.
Oh man, no, Dom, you're not weird. You're a good guy. You're a good guy.
Thank you.
Anyways, so for anybody not aware, the initiative has completely left Fountain.
We were never in Fountain.
Risk.
How could we have left it?
Risk. I can't.
I've explained this to you.
I
All
don't
those
remember ever
iHubs that
seeing
you
him down
saw,
there. Yeah.
all the iHubs that you saw that had Init's logo on those were not Init iHubs. Those are Horde iHubs masquerading as Init iHubs. They were spy hubs.
Spy hub.
So it was renting space off Horde?
No, we were never there.
It was
Oh.
never a fortress that
you're
never
looking for
housed initiative.
That never happened.
If you're
I
looking
don't know
for
where you guys are getting this from.
Oh,
It's-
I
it's
think
hilarious.
the culture lives in it. It lives in Fountain, right? That's what I
Exactly.
thought. Yeah, the culture lives
lives
there.
in it. I mean,
Like,
that's
Brisk, are
who's
you-
been in
It's just-
Fountain forever.
It's just Ragnar Bile
I mean,
yelling
shit,
at
I
his
thought-
kids.
I thought
Ragnar-
Test lived there. Didn't
Ragnar
Test
Bile
live in Fountain?
and PayPal Dave.
PayPal
Brisk, are you
Dave.
saying that the Horde transferred the iHubs to Inits to kill what tank? Is that what happened?
That's exactly what. it is.
I understand now.
Is that
Tell
the
us.
same? Is that the same as the Init Titans that joined Horde to try and get out?
Exactly.
You mean the Horde Titans?
Those were Horde Titans.
It
So
says
what
Horde.
about-
Like, can you guys not read?
no,
Like it says
that's lost
Horde.
out.
Okay,
The
so
fuck?
when there was a move up this past weekend, and two Titans
That was a super up.
clearly said the initiative on them died, whose Titans were those?
Those
Those
were
were-
Horde Titans.
They were
Pittsburgh
defecting.
Titans, obviously.
They were
They
obviously
were-
because
They were warping.
they
They
went
were
the
by
opposite direction,
Alts.
right, of where they were
They were
going.
literally
warped
warping
to the
in the
wrong
opposite
gate
direction.
on purpose.
Yeah.
They were warping
did it on
towards Horde
purpose.
staging.
No,
They were
the-
warping
the
towards
way-
Horde staging because they wanted to join Horde.
They're
The weird
both
thing-
both
those
affiliate
are-
spies.
That was the same guy. Like I can understand clicking the wrong gate once, but clicking the wrong gate twice, you kind of got to feel bad for the dude.
Well,
I mean-
he had his dread alts where they said warp to the gate, and so he warped everything to the gate, not realizing that he was also logged in on his Titan alts. So, unfortunately, Pittsburgh has 2 other Titan losses, but I'm sure he'll be able to.
Were they both rags?
Only one.
One of them was a dual tank drag that had hyperspatial rigs, which is a big thing, a very big thing.
I mean, you want to go fast, but also have some EHP, I guess.
Well,
How are y'all handling the Sodio loss that Horde killed earlier?
I don't know how. I mean, I don't understand why Horde rigged that Sodio the way that they did. It didn't make any sense to me. Like, why did it have a stand-up? Why did it have a super capital module and a capital module? Because isn't that redundant? I don't know why Horde is fitting their stuff wrong.
The sourcing of all your cheaper dreadnoughts and supers is kind of mind-boggling. Yeah.
Well, I don't think anyone in found if someone's been like. I think the general consensus is whatever's happening in the game now has probably been planned for a while. And considering Init renters were selling dreads in NPC Fountain, I don't think anyone would have needed to put a Satoye in Fountain to build dreads, or an Azabel or whatever.
What the fuck is happening right now?
What?
Look, we're not doing this anymore because I can't.
What do you mean we're not doing? What are we not
You
doing?
are not going to try to convince these people
I'm not
that
doing
you've never
anything.
lived in Fountain.
He did.
Look, these people know the truth. They understand.
Yeah, I mean, we don't actually care about convincing anybody. It's just a fact. Like either
I mean, I'm sitting in 1DQ. That home is where my Titans docked. My Titans docked in 1DQ. I live in Delph.
My Init ult has
Come
been
on.
living in 1DQ for months at this point, so I'm pretty sure
Right.
that this is very legitimate information.
Didn't you always live in Delve?
Me,
Doesn't Init live in FTAC?
Oh.
I was under the impression that everyone in the Imperium were goons, and that Init were goons, and Bastion were goons, and Lawn is goons, everybody's goons. So if that's the case, then yeah, I live in Delft. When have I not lived in Delft?
So he
I'm a
took Fountain
goon,
from
right?
the goons.
I live in Delft.
By extension, all
No,
goons are
you
horde
took
alts.
Fountain from the culture.
Oh right, Ragnar. I forgot about Ragnar.
And
Lawn aren't goons. Lawn aren't anything. Like that's not. It's unfair on the initiative and Bastion to lump Lawn into the same group as them. What a Lawn. Like,
Yeah, actually show up. I'm not gonna talk about them. I think they do a fine job for what.
I should have said TNT. Sorry.
I mean, that's not much,
That is a pretty good
much of an
question.
improvement.
What are lawn?
I miss Brothers in Arms.
Okay,
What
so
is Lawn?
anyways, back to the real thing that happened after 20 minutes of whatever the hell that was. The initiative
Redline,
has
I'm not going to let you
left
gaslight these people.
Fountain
I'm not going to let you gaslight these people.
completely.
Stop it.
They've abandoned all of their shit, and they said not how long ago was it that you were gonna fight for every inch of Fountain, that we were gonna pay for every inch of it. We reinforced 2 constellations. You back up into White Tac 2. Then a week later, y'all are in Delve, shacking up with Goonies.
Pay for every inch of Fountain. And iHubs cost money.
I guess they
no idea
do.
what you're talking about. I
The
really
smart thing to do would have just been to move back as soon as the cards were on the table, and what was about to happen was pretty self-evident to anyone that was watching. Like as soon as DK4U or whatever that system's called, and that constellation was lost, anything other than just retreating to Delve was, I don't know. I can understand if there was a decision to not immediately say we're going back to Delve because you don't want to cause panic and stuff, but you know what I mean. Like trying to defend Fountain without DK4U was never going to work. Just the Rangers wouldn't have allowed it to work.
I mean,
we could still cover
like,
pretty much
it was
everything.
It was decided like 2 years ago that Innit would rather go hang out in Losec and rent out that space to Horde. So this was already agreed upon by Goblins at a much higher level. I don't understand why you're questioning this, Redline.
Exactly. We're just, finishing the deal. That's all.
Was at the barbecue, or weren't you there, Redline?
No, apparently I wasn't. I wasn't there at all.
Well, that's what happens when you get kicked out.
Who got kicked out of anywhere? Hello?
You and Goon.
Don't assault my character like that.
You probably just too
Didn't
busy
you
running.
get kicked out of Goons for whelping a dread bomb? Wasn't that?
Yeah,
you?
yeah, that was him. That
Kicked
wasn't
out of the
Pittsburgh.
hive, dude.
That wasn't
Oh, right,
Pittsburgh. That was
right.
Redline.
No, that's Pitt's
Yeah,
line. You're
Red
getting
line,
him in
Pitt's
Red
line.
line 2989. That's me, right?
I mean,
Wait,
have
no.
you ever seen Pittsburgh and Redline in the same room?
Yes.
No, Pittsburgh left before Redline, right?
No.
Redline should have been
Redline
at
left
C-Dot
first.
well before Pittsburgh did.
Yeah.
If I remember it
yeah,
right,
because
Pittsburgh
before-
left. Pittsburgh left because Redline got kicked after a failed dread bomb. If I remember right.
no, Pittsburgh was he left later due to whatever the fuck, I forgot what it was, but Redline left because Pittsburgh was telling higher ups that he didn't really like him or something like that. And then Redline eventually moved.
Do that, Red Line. Jesus.
Redline, that's out of order, man.
I have no idea what anybody is talking about anymore.
You
At
can
all.
do that.
That's the point of this show. I thought we would just make stuff up.
I don't know. I don't think we just make stuff up. I think that we actually, say
think
things that are
that
true things. We just, make sure that
Pittsburgh-
everybody
Pretty
knows that it's
sure.
true, and we
when.
say the things that are true, and we only talk about true stuff.
Pittsburgh was
like-
worried about Redline's success, and he was worried about losing his position to Redline, and so he got jealous and kind of toxified the water around
I think
him.
this is a very, very interesting line of questioning. We should ask Redline, why did you do that to Pittsburgh?
I didn't do anything to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh killed my widow.
You were too good.
So it was because he killed your widow.
How can you have a widow if you're still alive?
Pretty good question. Oh look,
Actually, aren't widows
coat
kind of
hanger.
good?
What are you talking about?
I mean, I'm
Philly, I have
Billy,
no idea.
Billy,
Redline has
help me
lost
out
complete
here.
control over the show, and it's
It's
not
true.
even been on. Like
I just want to
10
eat
minutes.
this. I just want to eat this steak quesadilla. Someone help me, please.
Redline, bat
he's
phoning
not figured it out.
Philly. Oh boy.
Briscoe, I don't know what you're saying.
Daddy Billy, gotta come save you, Redline.
Rain, you're
the
really, really
quesadilla
quiet.
down.
About the
But
Alliance Open?
Is
Because everyone's
Ithaca here?
talking. Do you want
Can't
to
hear you.
Not here.
Rain, you should talk about the Alliance NT thing, the EVE NT thing.
Alliance Open?
Yeah, talk about
Yeah,
it.
let's talk about that.
Alright, so
Psych.
Weekend.
I'm kidding, Rain.
So the Alliance Open is a what we're attempting to call a player-run alliance tournament sort of take. So 32 teams, one winner, 2 weekends in November. It's currently registrations open. I believe the rule set. So you have 32 teams. So the first 24 get in for free. The last 8 are done by random draw, assuming more than 28 apply. And sorry, I'm super quiet. That's what happens when people talk over each other in Discord. I can see all your pings. But so our goal being even T. So that's the folks who've kind of did
Or do you
the
want to pick
I would
three
say the
B52 guys and send them up to 7 or 5?
so that were the guys who did the production for the start of AT, I believe it was 14, 15, and 16. So they did like the first couple of weekends. So they would just do the streaming. For AT 16, they actually did the entire show from a professional studio with equipment and cameras and all this blah blah blah. It was actually really well done. The production quality I thought was really well done. I got to go there and watch them do it live, and it was actually extremely impressive. From what started out as a group that just did it from their home computers and like having a server with some nerds on a grid, like talking to each other over TeamSpeak. So this is our next shot at doing. I know the AT wasn't around last year. It's not around this year, so we're gonna attempt to do that this time around.
Can
The
I
rule. Say again.
ask you a question about it? Are they going to do be allowed to use the Jove space, or are you guys going to do it somewhere else again?
So good news is it's not on Tranquility. We are going to do it on Thunderdome, so it kind of levels the playing field. So for folks who say they're newer or they're not as experienced, this is a great opportunity as well because on Thunderdome you get all skills at 5. The way we're trying to make it so it's not I will say a lines full of alts of people just making alpha characters and going on Thunderdome because they want to dunk on some nerds. Is we're kind of tying Tranquility skills to Thunderdome skills. So if you cannot fly a ship on Tranquility, just sitting in that ship, excluding fits, excluding specializations, then you cannot use it on Thunderdome. So we're trying to tie that there, and we're also using, I would say, what's called professional judgment to make sure no alliances are getting in where they just kind of like create an alliance on the fly and they're just them and all their friends, like what some folks would call like B teams of groups or anything along those lines. So we're trying to give it some semblance to the true spirit of the Alliance tournament.
Each
Can
team
I
has
ask a
to be from
question?
correct?
Rain, can I ask you a question about
Yep.
this? A friend's asked me to ask, can there be proper PvPers as commentators, AT experienced commentators, rather than generic streamers?
So as a generic streamer, I mean, I've spent years studying to be a commentator. But if folks want to apply and try out, go for it. What you'll find is that unless folks actually take it seriously and practice, it just comes across as garbage. Because obviously, as we see with this stream, talking over each other and just because you think you know something doesn't actually make much sense.
Yeah,
But if
Bill,
you
listen to her.
But if you have friends who want to apply, there's a Discord. I believe if you just go to eve-nt.uk, I think that's the official website.
Is your plan to reach out to any of those former?
Oh yeah. So even the Even T crew has done commentary in the past, right? Like I've commentated for Even T before I ever considered doing anything with CCP. That's kind of where I learned how to do commentary and whatnot. And we've had folks reach out saying they want to help in various ways, whether that's commentary analysis, doing background work because a lot of folks put in a lot of effort more than just from what you see on the screen. The rules are also I know a lot of folks who enjoy, I would say, tournaments really like the rules. We try to take it from, I think our starting point was the simplest way to put it is from AT16, and then we made modifications. The one rule that we kind of threw out was the flagship rule, which we know a lot of folks kind of had issues with on Tranquility because flagships always were how much ISK you could put into it. So, like for example, Balgorns could be 1 bill ship or a like 100 bill ship, and people saw that as a bit unfair. Wallet warriors, etc. So we kind of threw that rule out and introduced the wildcard rule, so folks can use unique ships, so prior years AT ships, 1 cruiser or 2 frigates. So if you think Etana, Rabisu, Maracha, or the 2 frigates, so that could be like double Cambion, double Malice, double Utu, ships like that. So then that way there's none of this like wallet warrioring, I would say. So every folk or every team has the chance to field an AT ship if they want. We can also watch them die. The similar to the AT, it's double elimination. I believe it's best of 3s for the quarterfinals, and then semifinals, and then the finals are best of 5.
Or do you have to own the ship on Tranquility to be able to use it on Thunderdome?
No.
So okay.
So yeah, that was we kind of joked around with that because we said, well, folks want to use AT ships or whatever, we should have them just contracted to us. But obviously, that's super biased, and still devolves into wallet warrioring. So we said entry fee is 500 plex, and then 2,000 plex as a down payment. So 2,500 total to enter. So the 500 plex automatically goes towards the plex pool, excuse me. And then if you lose ships on Thunderdome, and then when you're finally your team's either eliminated or you win, then the 2,000 plex down payment will have the plex removed. I'll say to the ISK similar to the ships you lost to kind of give that sort of realism from Tranquility, because we know a lot of folks love the Tranquility aspect of real losses are real, etc. But all the plex are then going to the prize pool. Similarly, if folks want to be able to, I don't know, contribute in some way, shape, or form, but they don't really know how, but they have a lot of plex or ISK, feel free to reach out to Bay ArtJ or reach out in the EvenT Discord, and we'll let you know, because I know he's been taking, I would say, just donations from community members or folks who have like quit the game but don't want to, give all their money away to someone else, just to kind of give to that prize pool, because everything we're doing goes to the prizes. It's not like Bay is keeping a bunch of plex and EvenT is just paying out members or something along those lines. It all goes to the prize pool.
Let's say a podcast out there or a show that makes a lot of money, like Trash Talk Tuesday, wanted to donate something, would they get credit for it somewhere?
I think we were trying to figure out how to do that, like free ad space or something along those lines. And I say free ad space, but really all our ad space is free. But I'm guessing, yeah, we will have shout outs to sponsors and whatnot. Additionally, I know folks love ads. I kind of like segued into this, but if you have ad space and you want to make ads for your, I don't know, your website, your corp, your alliance, or anything along those lines, we will more than happy take those. Players love ads.
And so the signups are going on now. And when do they stop? The end of the month, right?
Yeah, so August 31st.
Man.
Also fuck you, Fussy.
People really want trash talk. God, don't
This
you guys
is
understand how this
important.
show works?
Wait, so who's running this tournament? Because like it sounds like some effort's been put into it, but it doesn't sound like a Herculean task, right? And I've never given a shit about the AT, but obviously a lot of people do. So why can't CCP do what's being done by a small group of people that are just trying to make some fun?
Good question.
Yeah, I mean, we ask ourselves that a lot too. The question is, CCP can do it. They've done it in the past. We as players are doing it now because it's a passion project. It's something we love. Like if you watch some of these folks like work, I would say like we were gonna have Ithaca on here or Bay RJ, who's like kind of the brains behind everything. They spend beyond like an unreasonable amount of time just doing stuff like this. And for reference, when we do this live, it's, I believe, our entire Friday is spent setting up a studio. All Saturday, all Sunday is spent doing the broadcast, and then we all take Monday and tear everything down. It's a lot of effort. Especially like from the streamer perspective. I know like folks don't, I don't think, get this from, but like taking a live broadcast and making transitions look good and making audio look good and everything, every little piece and part look good is a lot of effort. But yeah, I wish CCP did it. We're hoping that at least showing this and showing that the fact that it's player run shows CCP that people do care. Similar to how Geronix did with the 5v5s. Like it was very clear from that effort that people still care about them, people still do them. It's still like a passion for the players.
Yeah, I mean, if you show or demonstrate or illustrate like how they could possibly or potentially make money off of it, then they're
It definitely
absolutely
could.
going to jump
It's
on
definitely
board.
profitable for them to do this. There's so many people that only play for the AT, and all their accounts will be subbed. Like, there's certainly a profit to be made there.
Yeah, so I noticed on Twitter, I saw Rick Stravix posted that we're already starting to see like subscriptions come back. So, Reen, I know you're friends with a bunch of like AT folks. Are you seeing like your people come back to the game because of this E Alliance Open, or no?
I mean, so I saw it with the 5v5s especially. I know me personally, I will resub all 5 of my accounts for this, and then when I unsub them, I'm going to put the comment bring back the AT because I know CCP definitely reads those. But yeah, I know some folks are definitely coming back for this. The good news is I think in theory, if people for some reason are really bitter at CCP, you can probably do all of this without actually having to pay a sub, because it's not done on Tranquility. You can practice on CC, and the actual tournament itself is on Thunderdome. So yeah, while it's great, you want to be able to support the game developer who's making this game that you're passionate about. You can still sort of, I don't know, stick it to the man in a way.
Stick it to the man.
Once CCP realizes that like they can charge X amount of plex in order to enter yourself into like an official tournament, whatever, for like 1v1s or 2. Not talking about just like AT in general, just like tournament style ladder ranking type scenarios or something like that. Like you guys are gonna.
They've known this for years, man, and they've not done it. Like,
well, Rain, I'll DM you in that conversation where you sent me a bunch of cosplay selfies and stuff. I'll comment back to you on that.
Oh.
Concern is whether or not this tournament will be run well. The previous ones were run rather terribly because there was some misunderstanding and CCP executed it in the wrongest ways. So, if I to my memory, that caused CCP to have some bad taste. Hopefully, this one and hopefully the 5v5s have demonstrated that people are interested in it, and hopefully this upcoming one, well, leaves them with a better taste of what the AT and what people missed.
You mentioned the 5v5.
Play Eve when the AT tournaments are around.
Does that matter?
Have you already
watch
configured your bots, Rich, to help out in the 5v5s?
I'm not sure how that's relevant, and we'll go ahead and move on from that.
However,
I believe there is no current AT ship prize, which for some might be dissuading, but hopefully that it shouldn't be too much. Obviously, the AT ship prizes were the biggest prize for the winners. Even third place, you could easily take over 6 trillion worth of blueprints home.
Well, I mean, all they need to do is introduce covert ops dictators and as the prize, and everyone will be happy, right?
Who would use a covert ops dictator? That's the riskiest thing you could do.
Exactly.
To be fair, as part of the crew that's like running this, I don't think we want the responsibility of being able to hand out prizes that would involve CCP. So like we can give out Plex as prizes, right? Like, that's super simple as a player, right? Taking in whether it be donations or like a down payment or an entry fee, and then pooling that up and divvying it out. But if we're responsible then for like, I don't know, like us personally handing out, limited edition ship skins or limited edition ships, that becomes very like touchy from a player perspective, because you always want that to come from CCP.
Hopefully CCP does provide some official support in this.
I think I'm pretty sure when Bay met with them to discuss, the use of Thunderdome, I'm like 99% sure he would have asked for it with probably full understanding that there's like no way they would offer that. But it would be very nice to see.
If only there was somebody that was on like the CSM or something that we could.
You did know somebody like that. That'd be great.
Fountain Frank, perhaps.
Oh, please stop.
Given that we have 2 CSM members on here, and the fact that they released this communicant, whatever, and they said that whatever changes that
we're not there yet.
We're
not there yet.
We're not there. We haven't even discussed the fact that Rich is harvesting a bot army right now. We haven't even addressed Rich's botting.
I did literally see Rich say in the cesspool earlier that he would RMT, which is kind of disappointing. Just from a
no one can be held accountable for the cesspool. The cesspool is the cesspool. I've said things I don't mean. We've all said things we don't mean. The cesspool is a cesspool.
It's true.
But
so I just want to point out before we move on anywhere else.
Yeah, can I do one more plug for it? Because I know a lot of folks are like, "Wow, we don't like small gang tournaments, blah blah blah." I will say there are members of this war happening right now who have found the time and the means to put a team in. So if your alliance isn't there, you might as well just fucking forfeit this war at this point.
I mean, Init have had a lot of time to put into the team because they haven't really done anything.
Some people are gonna have to sit here and grind structures for the next like 5 months. The others just get to go like sit in NPC stations. Like that's not exactly a fair comparison.
Why is Horde going to sit in NPC stations?
I'm not talking about Horde, we're talking about Initiative and Goons.
Who?
Isn't the game plan to like worst case scenario is to go to NPC Delve?
Terrible idea.
Oh, that's a great idea, actually.
Are
I
we?
really like that idea.
For you, Bill, for you individually, it's a great idea. You get to live your Viet Cong style resistance dream. But for the average member, that's a nightmare situation.
Are we going back to this now? Is this what we're gonna do?
Do we ever go off this? Does it ever really get past this?
We were off it
What?
for a little while, but
Here we
I
are
needed to
again.
make
I
sure
thought we were
that
talking about the NT. I don't understand why you guys don't want to let Rain have her conversation
The
about the
Alliance
tournament stuff.
Open.
Is that what it's called? Is that it's called the
AO,
Alliance
yeah.
Open?
Yeah,
AO. All right.
we were
so-
trying to get an acronym so we could make
There
it AT, but we couldn't.
So
Alpha
I
Omega.
hope I don't get in trouble for this because I know Ron USMC is in the chat. So Ron, if you have a problem with me doing this, just let me know. But I want to show something on the screen that was recorded this weekend, and I want to talk about it all together as one big happy Trash Talk family. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that on the screen now. You guys see this?
It looks like
I see it. I
exploit-
see that.
that looks like some very exploitative gameplay mechanics right there. Like,
Stealing his stuff?
abusing.
pouring salt on Pittsburgh.
Surrounded by dreadnoughts on a gate with so many bubbles. Oh, it turned into
And there it goes.
It turned
You
into a
saw-
wreck. Imagine
It's like
that.
a Rorschach painting.
See, I just wanted to make sure that we all saw that, because that was an initiative Titan that died in YTAC 2 while the initiative was evacuating from Fountain. Because despite what people in this channel will tell you, all it took was a month to take the alliance that would fight for every inch of Fountain and turn them into the alliance that is running away and moving all of their shit out of their home.
Well,
fact
Red
about
Line.
My shit is all been sitting in
unfortunately,
my home for a long time.
So, anyways,
no,
because
Red Line.
because Brisk
you
is
got-
here and Bill is here, they're gonna try to say otherwise, and I get it, right? You've probably been tasked by the Matani or some other devious devil to come on this show and spread lies. But
Actually,
God
no,
damn it,
on the phone.
we
doesn't
will
know
not
what
tell
no,
lies
no.
on this show. What do you
Irony
mean?
is
The
that
game,
I
the
agree.
game,
last week.
We
the
are
game is measured.
absolutely
You can
not going to tell
directly-
any lies on this
You
show.
can directly pull out a video of last week when Big Bill tried to use a rhetoric that, tests aren't doing enough, and Billy called
Rich,
out.
that's great. No, I'm gonna need you to hold
Billy
on a
pulled out
second,
video
okay?
of,
So-
him basically repeating Mitani's rhetoric and Mitani's directions. Mitani himself admitted, Test is doing a whole bunch, but we can't say that. We got to say that they're not doing enough.
Dude. Oh my god, it's a
Yeah.
scam. Two people from the same alliance are using the same talking points. What a goddamn what
Whoa.
a disaster.
Wait a
Laura,
second.
I-
It's almost like they
agree
have
with
like
you.
firesides where they coordinate this sort of propaganda.
I
Holy
just
shit.
find it very unfortunate that Red Line has to come here and try to use my show to talk
Wait.
about all this bullshit.
Wait a second.
Not every show
Hold
is your
on.
show, Brisk.
Yeah, Brisk, I appreciate you taking over when I had to step away for a
Look,
while.
I'm just saying, I think a little
Whoa,
bit of respect
whoa,
for the
whoa,
host
whoa.
here would be appreciated.
Whoa, listen, Brisk. We have to interrupt everything because there was just a serious accusation thrown in the Twitch chat. It was highlighted, and I need to know: do you or do you not wear clip-on ties?
I have worn a clip-on tie before.
Oh my god!
Typical
come
politician.
on.
Do you know what where clip-on ties rhymes with?
I
Tells
was not.
lies. Tells lies. Where's clip-on ties? Tells lies.
I was
All right,
9.
everybody in the chat wears clip-on ties, tells lies. That
Fountain
is
died.
That's it.
that is today's narrative.
I can't argue with this. I can't argue with this because when I was 9, I did wear a clip-on tie once.
Fountain
So what,
dies.
10 years ago, Brisk?
Fountain dies. Clip-on ties. Tells lies.
Oh
Fountain's
man,
not dead. Horde is
de-
living
not
there
dead
right
yet.
now and enjoying themselves.
We still have
That's
25
true.
seconds.
Brisk spies.
That was
You
one
still
rhyme
you,
too
how
many,
many
dude.
citadels do you have left?
5 systems still.
How many?
We only have
Citadels.
one
I don't
Keepstar, right?
know.
So you're saying
As
that
far as I know, we
so-
don't have any because we've
so-
never lived in Fountain.
So what we're saying is that Bastion has a firmer grip on Fountain than the Initiative does.
Wow.
Bastion might live there. They probably live there.
From what I've heard,
Well, we certainly had an interested Bastion corporate too that said that they would be interested in continuing to live there. So, may not be the whole Bastion, but at least a little bit.
No, all of that stuff is
I'm not
actually
leaving
Horde
Fountain.
stuff.
I haven't left Fountain since Tess was here the first time.
Interesting is,
Yeah, when did you guys leave Fountain, Billy?
When did I conquer Fountain?
No, when did you leave it? Didn't you guys leave Fountain too?
Goons for that.
I hate to break it to you, but El Conqueror de Fontaine. So like, just helping out the new generation.
Yeah, I know
guys
you guys took the
get
space in
that good
2012.
experience.
I'm just wondering when you left it.
13.
So, Billy, do
Was
you
it
use
2012?
Do you
Go
use
look at
a
INN. It's like one of their most well-read articles, Brisk. Like, isn't that your guys' jam?
Let's not cite INN as an actual reliable source of information. Like,
oh, that's right.
Stop
You
dissing
were in
Redline like
Goons
that,
back
dude.
then.
Redline's an IN editor too. What the fuck?
I'm not
I
an
know.
editor for
I-
INN.
yeah, there was. I can remember specifically.
I understood that Redline was the best author INN had.
He is, and he's
I
just
remember that-
trash talking him.
The INN article that talked about the Nenamalia fight, where Ultra Cow warped the carriers to an Astra house and fed 300-400 bill, was described as a Pyrrhic victory by a guy that had played the game for 4 months. I don't think we can rely on that news source to be entirely credible.
Fair.
we talk about Fountain being floodplains, but
wanna
I'm
talk
looking
about
on the
anything that you wanna talk
things
about.
that have been killed here, and I see all the
Rich, I
crops.
don't appreciate you
I
making
don't know.
floodplains references
It
while
doesn't.
there's a
It's not
hurricane.
a floodplain. It's not a floodplain. This is more like farmlands because
That's
people
not okay.
are farming the crops that you've planted. These sotios, they are juicy. They're full of loot. My God, how could you say these things are are floodplains when they're clearly farmlands?
We don't know that.
Albeit not so sustainable. This is a rainforest. They're chopping down the rainforest right now. These are years and years old trees, beautiful oaks that are going down.
So
and
what you're
doing
saying
nothing about it.
Are they red
PandaFam is destroying the future of the game then, yes?
I don't understand why these guys are blowing up their own infrastructure, but that's what's happening.
Wow.
It's weird.
The spin.
Almost
You
like
have to
it's
ask
not an
Horde why they're
initiative
blowing
in
up their own
Transform sector.
Sodios.
I'm getting so dizzy.
I mean, that's up to you. To me, this is old feud break into new mutiny, where civil blood makes hands unclean.
But I want to point out the thing that Rich said, which is it's like it's burning down the rainforest, and I could not agree more. PanFam is literally destroying the last bit of like individual self-sustaining environment in Eve because
Maybe you spear truckers should have moved out of the rainforest. Maybe you
Whoa.
should have stayed there.
Whoa!
Anger right there, but
Sticky rainforest, dude.
You gotta soothe that anger.
You know what? I think
Right above
I
Fountain.
think certain people here have perfected their ambition and have manifested
do you
destiny
mean,
and
you
seek to
people?
expand what belongs to them. The land is theirs. I mean, after all, Vinny, technically speaking, has a legal claim to Fountain.
You literally just called them spear checkers.
I don't think you can say that on a stream.
I'm pretty sure you can't say that on Twitch.
Listen, White Knight,
Don't
don't
ask.
even start. Don't
Look,
even start
all I'm
here,
saying,
Brisk.
look, Redline, all I'm saying is that I don't appreciate those types of comments on my show, and I don't want it getting banned from Twitch. We put a lot of work into making this show good. I don't want to see it removed because someone's making racist comments.
Look, I will tell you straight up that nobody has put any amount of effort. That's probably not true. Somebody's put effort in making this show good. I don't know
try
who
hard.
it is.
I
Loki
try
tries hard.
sometimes.
There's Brisk, isn't it?
Well, I appreciate that nice comment. Their red line.
Bill?
I'm
pretty
sorry
sure
I
it's like
couldn't be
it's
here
like
the last
90.
couple-
It's 99% rain. Actually, I think that's the answer.
I mean, are you not that exactly that descriptor? Are you not tribalistic? You believe in
I
some
don't
sort
like
of
to
false
talk to
belief in a
race.
single leader?
You're digging your hole deeper.
Just
Yeah, you're gonna need a ladder here soon, buddy.
like a timeout corner for Rich or something.
I mean, you're making it an issue like that. I'm not.
I'll give him a little bit of a little bit of I forgot the word that I'm trying to say.
That's okay. That's fine.
Leniency because he's from Euro.
I'm gonna be on
Whoa,
PandaFam side for
don't pile me in. Don't pile him in with you. He does not represent our point of view.
Quick question:
are you European?
He speaks as if he's PanFam's
Well,
representative.
look, I don't want to belabor this because I understand. I don't think Rich was trying to say something that was mean and nasty. but he
Obviously
did.
not.
But I do think that we should talk about Bill's point because I think it's very dangerous the fact that 3/4 of the map is now blue to each other and they're all picking on one small group that happens to live in one little region by itself, out of the way, not bothering anybody, just trying to live their lives and have fun crabbing.
Oh, boo-hoo.
Maybe, Bruce.
It's
Maybe,
such
Bruce.
a
You should have
shame.
known your fucking place in the food chain.
You can't say
You should have known your place. You should have stayed
It's
content.
so unnecessary.
You should have the ambition.
I just can't believe.
Rich, bring in the
How
You know,
heat.
you go loud. You know, you got ice cream dripping
Rich is
down your
gonna
mouth.
show
You got
you
rocks in your
to the
stomach.
chain risk.
You know, you're blabbering
can't-
some stuff, and
I can't
you
wait
say
till
the wrong
next.
things to the wrong people.
I
and
can't
you
wait till
can't
next
say-
week.
You get what you
when
fucking
initiative,
deserve.
when initiative burns down Flaming Dragon's like staging hole or something.
Yeah.
You can't say on one hand the 3/4 of the map is blue, and what were they going to do now? At the same time, they're saying test is next. Test is next. Those two things don't really go well together.
I mean, you have
they're
Batani.
contradictory. Oh, Mitani, like, come on, like
I mean,
the whole
he's like-
goon,
Oh, yeah.
the whole goon leadership style is like, what can we do that makes a really good ping? Like, you should read the K color the sit rep pings that he does. It's like reading half of a story, or even less than half. It's painful to read. Like, I'm not even invested in it, right? I'm just like relatively a third party interest at this point.
Can you read one of those pings? Just like
I'm
not
like,
like
I can't.
verbatim,
You know,
but-
you have the Matani going, oh yeah, I'm the bad guy, and then he has all this snooty. Oh, I would only have my diplomats and my representatives come to my show. They can't go anywhere else. Miranda Lauren, you must leave Trash Talk Tuesday immediately.
Dude.
And you know, now that you build up this
Miranda did
character,
not
do you
leave.
really
Whoa.
have a fucking Pikachu face,
Whoa,
and you're
whoa.
surprised when
No,
people
stop.
go after you?
Miranda did not leave Trash Talk Tuesday because anyone told her to. So
You lost
don't
all
circle
Pikachu
jerk
face.
that fucking bullshit. Let
A lot
everyone
of
see.
people.
Yeah,
left.
what Rain said.
A lot
Okay,
of
Rich,
seems
people.
I have
why are
been-
you being so toxic to people today?
Yeah,
I
why?
have
Why do
no
you
idea
have
what
to
you're
be
talking about,
racist
but
and-
it seems that I have been
You're just being so
misled.
toxic.
I'm
I
being
heard that
toxic.
Miranda
I
got
don't
banned
know.
for being.
Chris, when
Miranda
in
got banned for being toxic, right?
Like when you guys go into evict farming dragons, can you throw me a PM and we'll come help?
Yeah, I know. I'm just waiting for
Done.
it now. Jesus Christ.
Oh, I
dude.
have a few alts in there. Just tell me what kind of dreads you fly, and I'll.
So to be clear, we're saying now that Fountain
Dreadnoughts.
is not fallen. It was never an initiative region, correct, Brisk?
What?
We're saying that Fountain has not fallen. It was never a initiative region to begin with, correct, Brisk?
Philly,
We-
Nullsec
that's-
is space
that's
for
what-
everybody.
But
I mean,
Brisk,
you said that. You just said that.
so is that correct, Brisk? That it was never an initiative region?
You just said that. Yeah, I agree with you. Yes.
Okay, so we're saying now that initiative never held Fountain. Did Goons once hold Fountain?
Not that I'm aware of.
All right.
Maybe they
so-
did a long time ago. I don't remember.
Weren't goons in Test like allied at one point? So does that make Test goons?
It might, I guess.
Well, Test actually held Fountain, if I recall correctly.
Well,
So
But that was back when Villy was in Goon, so it doesn't count.
Test are like goons, but with like a PvP orientated membership, right?
What?
Like,
So initiative never held Fountain. They've got no legal claim to Fountain. They don't have that in their history.
Who has legal claim to anything?
I think
Really,
Billy has a
when you
claim,
think about it.
considering he's a conqueror of Fountain.
Isn't possession 9/10 of the law?
I knew you were gonna say that.
well,
Jesus
that
Christ.
doesn't really hold much water.
For a while.
All the possessions in Fountain are currently getting blown up, so I don't know if that's the route you want to go down. Well, those possessions are gone.
As far as I know, we don't possess anything in Fountain anymore, right? I thought
That
all
will,
the
that, will,
iHubs were gone.
that will be a factually accurate statement in about a week and a half. Yeah.
Well, I mean, like I said, they were all really Horde iHubs. They were just painted to look like Unit iHubs.
No one cares
Brisk,
about
there's a
iHubs.
Sotio
Regardless,
with
we've
your
been
name
through
on
this
it.
territory.
Brisk, there's a Sotio with your name on it worth a super carrier. 2
What?
super carriers.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Look on the top of Zekiel.
Stop
A super
embarrassing
carrier
me.
is worth 80 billion ISK.
I don't see my name on
92
Zico. Where is my name on Zico?
It said, look, take a look. Initiative holding the initiative. Initiative.
That's
is
not
you.
my name.
You are part of initiative.
That's not my name. My name is Brisk. If I don't see my name.
And you are part of what corp?
That's actually about 3
embarrassing
super
me.
carriers, if we're being honest.
I'm also in Karma Fleet.
Also,
Wait, say that again. You were spoken over.
I'm in STK. I'm also in Karma
And
Fleet.
SDK Scientific. And who is SDK Scientific part of?
The Initiative.
And who does this Sotio belong to that's just recently died?
That was Hordes.
It says initiative right here.
I was waiting
Are
for
you
that.
alive?
You
so
try
good.
way too hard, and you're pretty cringe. I'm not gonna lie.
Richard,
Rich,
I
you need
can
to calm
actually,
down.
I can physically see your brain working, and it's depressing. Like, just
Yeah, like I don't. Where'd you find yet in fucking Britain or wherever you are? Like,
Well, what do you mean Britain or wherever you are? Britain's a fine place, okay? I'll have you
I'm
know.
pretty angry if I lived in Europe too.
Whoa,
It's okay.
whoa. Let's keep the racism in check, okay?
Racism? I said Europe.
Euros are a race, okay? We stand together, we stand united, and we stand
what?
strong.
You do?
We do.
You what?
let's
That's true.
let's back away from this this line of questioning here, because this is dangerous territory. So clearly, I'm not the host of Trash Talk Tuesday tonight, which is totally fine. You guys are doing a great job. Thanks for keeping up the tradition of literally saying anything for views. And we're gonna move on a little bit, because clearly Fountain's not the topic that we want to talk about. And it's
Redline,
not
can I ask
much
you a
of
question?
you could if you wanted to.
Do you think it's appropriate for people to make jokes about me killing myself in the chat?
I don't. Who did that?
I think there's somebody in there who's making jokes like that. It's not okay. It makes me sad.
No, don't get sad, Rez. That's step 1. No, don't
Very
get sad.
upset.
Do not get sad.
Makes
If you
me
feel...
very sad.
Hey, Brisk, did he say in Minecraft, so it's okay?
No, he didn't.
Oh,
There was no in-game comment. Very sad now.
So can we
on my
add,
own show, people telling me to kill myself.
Can we add things?
I can't believe this.
And it'd be okay.
Anyway, all right. I'm sorry, Redline. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead, please.
I forgot what I was gonna say. If I'm being honest,
You have the speaking conch.
You're moving away from Fountain.
I think Redline, you were going to mention something about iHubs in Fountain, or maybe Citadels in Fountain. I'm not sure.
I like iHubs and period bases instead. I think that's a better conversation.
I was going to ask Vertiso about what his views are on rental empires and stuff like that.
Funny you ask.
Cheap space rented in Fountain.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
So let's do that. Let's talk about period bases. So, in the one of 3 theaters of war, you guys are doing great in period bases. You must really like that rental region. You must really like it a lot, right? Because Bill, that's what you wanted to ask Vertiso about, was rental regions, and that's what period bases is. A
No, but I'm
billion
not
ISK a
talking
month. You can rent there. Yeah. Right.
That's for corps. I'm not talking about the period basis rental empire.
Oh, you're talking about a different rental empire. So if somebody else is, are you going to talk badly about it? Like one of those
No, I'm
things
just
where,
asking-
like, if somebody
I'm
else
just
is doing it,
asking
it's
Bert
bad.
what
If you're doing it,
his
it's okay. Or
Redline. I'm just
okay,
asking
I'm here.
what his thoughts and opinions on rental empires were.
I
He was
think
answering.
rental empires are a great way for people to earn money. You know, whether you're the renter or the landlord, it's a great way of earning money. Like Geminate, for example, is currently being rented out by Snuffed Out. If anyone's interested, we took BWF for we have a Keepstar there soon. So if anyone's looking for some nice space to rent, BWF will be a nice home for any starting corp or group of friends looking to make their place in the EVE universe.
I've noticed that. I was wondering. Okay, I was wondering what was going on over there. So
Redline, I need you to do me a favor if you can.
What's that?
Can you take over the show from me? I've got to go play Eve.
Nope. This is all you, dude. It's all you.
All right, then, Bill, I need you to take over because I gotta go play Eve.
We can't we can't allow that to
I
happen.
will see you guys soon when I'm done killing people in Eve. So. Thank you for joining us today for Trash Talk Tuesday. We hope you had a great time.
Jeez. Okay.
Blurkus will stand.
Relay a message to the Pappy forces. Go ahead and alpha Briss Ribol as soon as possible so we can get him back on the show.
I muted him. Go ahead.
It's only a Blurkus fleet. They'll stand down within 30 seconds anyway, so he'll be back. I wouldn't worry too much about it.
He's so fucking. He's like a 3-year-old. Jesus Christ, on caffeine or something.
It was like a 3-year-old on caffeine or something.
Fucking Rich.
Did you really mute Rich? Doesn't look muted.
I would have.
Yeah, I didn't mute him.
I would have gone with crack as over caffeine, but.
I don't know, Bill. You're an alpha. I'm gonna have to stand down here on that statement.
Bill being an alpha. Imagine that.
We shouldn't listen to wormholers, by the way. All wormholers are terrible posters and terrible speakers.
Terrible people.
Meerkats. Meerkats is
I
what
don't
they're
know,
called.
Losako, didn't you just take front page on Reddit?
I had 1,000 yet.
We're talking about
I'm
space.
refreshing. I'm at 976 upvotes. I'm not quite there.
What, on Eve Reddit?
I made the capture meme for Fountain.
Wait, does anyone ever reach 1,000 on our Eve? I didn't think that
24 away.
Well, I'll come and give you an upgrade now. I just need to find it. Oh, wow. You hit 976.
Do you use a mirror or do you use a selfie picture whenever you jack off at night?
The selfie picture it gets damp too quickly, so you've got to go with a mirror. It's much easier to clean.
Very good answer.
Pretty solid answer, to be fair.
Yeah, very strong answer.
You put that at your feet, the mirror.
I think on the mirror is a pretty, logical choice anyway.
I'm sorry.
Okay,
Is it a crime?
This is not the conversation that we're having right now at all in any capacity. We are gonna move on to the next topic here. So the established thing that we've all established as a group together is that Risk wears clip-on ties, he tells lies, and Fountain dies. Moving on. So the next thing we're gonna talk about, I want to talk about this 5v5, or not the 5v5, the free-for-all thing that they got going on. Have you guys seen this collusion talk on Reddit where somebody said something like people are working together to make sure that they win? You guys seen any of
Rich's
that?
bots? Yeah, Rich's fucking FFA bots. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Eve players are working together. Eve players are working together to skew a mechanic in their favor. My God, what a crime!
Chori, Suetoni, all the elite PvPers cheating because they can't win. They can't beat a fucking Tiplo who has so many other things he could be doing. Instead, he's getting second place.
This was done in the 2v2s, by the way. Colluding
everyone-
is not free-for-alls.
Everyone knows that Chori's a degenerate, right? We're not out here to argue the fact that Chori's a degenerate. But
Actually, I have a message to deliver to Villy. This man
Villy's
is
not here.
oh bollocks. Well,
Billy
how
has been
unfortunate.
Billy's been participating in the 5v5 free. The 5-man free-for-alls as well.
Well, Chori, the one that's been the mastermind orchestrator, mentally untouchable person who's doing all of this collusion, he's planning on making another attempt on the Tranquility Trading Tower. He believes he can unite and rally people under his charisma and charm to bring down the Tranquility Trading Tower, threaten the war, and potentially get goons to help him.
So you're going to help them take over Fountain and then try to counter them on the TPT?
Rich, you're a little bit out of date there. That plan's already been suggested, implemented, and failed.
No, he's planning another one. But
another failure. Okay.
Yeah, with the recent collusion, I'm not sure if anybody wants to help him out on this one.
Are you talking to yourself in third person?
Are you telling me that an idiot? I was going to say the R word. 1 second, I need to rethink
No,
this.
I think
Dumbo. Use the word Dumbo.
I think he's very capable in various different ways. After all, he's got dreadnoughts logged off in every region. He's got 2,500 alt accounts. He could single-handedly tilt the CSM elections.
Hey, Rich, what's his dick taste like?
I don't know. I don't. I can tolerate the guy, but I'm certainly not going to be.
Right.
I can't really understand you. You're gargling a
You're
little.
you're gonna have to take the cock out of your mouth for us to understand you, mate. It's mumbled, to say the
Okay,
least.
well, I can tolerate the guy, but I can't see myself dealing with him. He's peculiar.
Did you bring him up then?
Oh, he's the one rigging the fucking.
His plan is to bring
fights.
what? His plan is to bring hundreds of Ishtars to fight a sub-cap fit for a Keepstar. I wish him the best of luck in his sanity.
Well, like he wants to
So
rally about. I don't know.
here's my
600
question for you,
actors.
Rich.
Yeah, what's up?
You mentioned that this collusion is a big brain play, right? That's what you
I
said.
think it's the stupidest drama ever. It's
it
the entire
genius
reason why the 2v2s and the fires right now are just so goddamn unenjoyable because of these dipshits colluding with each other on this. I think it's fucking.
CCP don't think like more than a week ahead at most, right? Like if you're going to introduce a 5v5, having anything like interaction between players is stupid. Being able to see each other's character portrait is stupid. And there'll always be someone like Jory, like the degenerate that he is, that will like piss people off and exploit the game to win a 5v5 free-for-all destroyer tournament. That's Eve, right? That's the game we all play. There's always
In the statement entry, CCP don't think at all.
well, I mean, like if you they obviously do, right? Like we can easily say they don't, but like they run a game, right? So they obviously think about it somewhat. To say they don't would be kind of pointless and stupid and retarded. But
God damn it, Vert! God damn it! We were doing so good.
Die hard.
It would be kind of the R word, right? To think that CCP don't think at all about the video game that they make their living off, right? So they obviously think about it somewhat. Stupid, okay, stupid.
Very
About it
simple.
as a cash
sorry.
cow.
I mean, like, look, if it's a cash cow, they're more invested to keep it running, right? So they're not going to intentionally make ill-informed decisions. They might make ill-informed decisions, like introducing clouds in the game that make systems uninhabitable. That's, you know.
I don't think those make systems uninhabitable, but
I mean,
we'll talk about it.
We want to make changes to the game to keep the cash cow going, but yeah, it's a bare minimum changes. And if we had 2 CSM members, I'd love to talk about the cloud, but fortunately, we don't have 2 CSM members right now.
No, we're apparently doing a different kind of Trash Talk Tuesday show where it's everybody just talks instead, which is totally fine. It's fine. But anyways, so that's that. So we can all agree that the collusion thing is really stupid. I still say that this whole like instance PvP thing. What do you guys think this is going to turn into? As far as like, do you think the buck stops here, or do you think there's been enough popularity? I mean, I saw a tweet from Convict where he was like rank 900 and something. So like, obviously players are playing with these 5v5 or these free for all things. Do you think it's something that's going to stick around? They're going to make it permanent like they did with the needlejack filaments, or nah?
Quote me right now. All right, quote me. We're getting arena solve from this. It's happening. In 2 years, this is gonna be massively successful, and we get fucking instead of Fozzie solve. You thought it was bad. Now we're getting arena solve. Instance.
I think you'll see. I think you'll see 20v20 at the max. Right, like realistically, like 20v20 probably to me sounds a lot more fun than a 5v5 or a 2v2. And if they can get the groundwork in place, where like the systems are in place for it to work, 20v20 has a lot of potential to be interesting. Right, it'll be hard to introduce limitations for it, I guess, but like 5v5, I've not tried it. Right, I've got some friends that have tried it, and 5v5 or sorry 5-player free for all T1 destroyers seems like the least enjoyable way of implementing an arena. Personally,
Yeah, I kind of agree. The few 2v2s that I did on stream when they were on CC were pretty fun because I was working with somebody, but like just going in there by myself, I just hard fed. Like I lost like 4 quorum rounds, and I was like, all right, I'm done with this right now.
Guys played. I know this isn't Eve related, but have any of you guys played Albion? Because Albion has arena solve, or it did have arena solve, so it's an interesting comparison to draw.
Well, Guild Wars had that too, didn't it?
I've never played Guild Wars, but Albion is about as close to Eve as you can get without playing Eve itself. So it's a very interesting comparison to draw. There'd be an equivalent of a fleet fight to like reinforce the solve initially, and then there'd be a 5v5 to decide who gets to keep it. and it created an environment of people sort of selling themselves to alliances to work as one of their 5v5 teams, and it would turn into like whole alliances working to create equipment and to practice with their A team 5v5 players to go and compete for the tournament to win the SOV. And it was a very different environment, not necessarily better or worse than what Eve has right now, but it really put like PvP skill right at the top of the pedestal, both in sort of the small gang stuff that Eve has, as well as Albion, and also the strat-op soft warfare, like the elite PvPers were the heroes of the game rather than the FCs for the most part.
Hey, I'm gonna throw a piece of shit at the wall real quick. What if instead of like if your iHub is reinforced for the last time or your TCU or whatever, if it's reinforced for the last time, you have an option of generating the 5 or 6 nodes that spawn afterwards, or you could select the option to send your greatest warrior forward to challenge the greatest warrior of the other side or some shit like that.
Yeah,
Like in Troy.
except it wouldn't be 1v1 because 1v1s in Eve are kind of boring, so it
Well,
would be some sort of group thing.
Any instance PvP in Eve, like the nature of Eve is everything's min-maxed to the point of it kind of being boring, right, for the most part. So if you've got a 1v1, 2v2, 5v5, there's going to be a meta, and it's going to be adhered to by every group that actually cares about winning. So it takes any sort of meaningfulness out of the whole equation. It's just going to be a run by the numbers thing, where at least in an open kind of conflict, there's room for counterplay, intelligent maneuvers and things like that. Whereas any sort of instance thing, it's just going to be like, right, this is what we have to do to win, or there's a counter to this and we have a counter to that. Like, there's very limited options for what you can do. But in an actual fight, there's plenty of options.
That problem, because Albion has the same problem. People can buy the really expensive gear and go into the 5v5s and just win. The solution there was they had a cap, and if your gear was over a certain strength, the game would reduce your power. Do you think a mechanic like that is, not that I'm saying this would be a good idea for Eve, but do you think a mechanic like that would be possible in instance PvP, where the game somehow checks your fit for bling or whatever and reduces the strength of your ship slightly, not completely down to T2 level, but down to the point where a T2 fitted ship could still beat you on pure skill?
They have that already, right? For the AT, they had you just no dead space modules, no T2 drones, and just
Well, you
use
couldn't
those
even
same.
fit your ship with that. Like you didn't get to. Are you talking about the invasion tournament or the actual alliance tournament?
The actual alliance.
Okay. Well,
So
because I know for the invasion tournament they had it so that you couldn't actually even fit your ship. There was just a selection of ships that you could choose from, kind of like a set of champions in League of Legends would be.
That was really boring to watch, though. I hated the invasion series. It was just not entertaining as a viewer, and it wasn't like it was entertaining as a pilot because you were playing Eve in a small gang setting and it was fun in that extent. But as somebody who played in the tournaments, comparing that to the AT, like you're missing the theory crafting. That's half the game for people like me who design doctrines and stuff. It's like 80% of the game. That's the fun bit for me. You can't. Go ahead, Bill.
I was going to add to your statement is like, yeah, a lot of people don't realize. Well, this may just be my interpretation of EVE Online, but to me, I feel like a lot of people don't realize, even though it's like ships for ship, people moving your ship around and shooting the ship, in the greater scheme of things, it's essentially a strategy game. To me, EVE Online is a great big chessboard. You have to do a whole shit ton of, well, at least not on the smaller scale necessarily, but on fleet engagements and shit. There's a ton of stuff going on outside of just the ship versus ship scenario that has to be accounted for, thought out ahead of time.
I don't know. In these kind of massive block versus block fights, there's such a defined meta of what is the better thing to do that doing anything else seems super counterproductive. And it's whoever has the most Munins, the best chemo wing, and the best bomber squad is, that's the winner most of the time. Maybe throwing boosters and things like that, or slippery Pete's, but there's not that much diversity in what kind of options you have if you want to do something productive and helpful.
But if you're in solo play, you're optimizing your platform for whatever happens, like out there, just straight up.
Yeah, I guess that's like, yeah.
Do you think, like, if they did some sort of arena sov, or if they did the bring your champion forward or whatever, do you think that would go against the spirit of EVE as a strategy game when it comes to soft warfare?
Maybe they should just take NPC space and then shrink it down to like a single fucking grid.
I think most people already want some more NPC space in games, so there's probably some room to do some fun stuff with that.
Yeah, like of course
mean-
add NPC space to like areas
Every
around
region.
Don't even
Infinite
say it.
Branch, KE.
Well, every region should have NPC space. I don't. Although I mean, there is a counter argument to it, right? That since the what's the word? Homogenization of minerals and things. Yeah, that word I can't pronounce.
Homogenization.
That one, homogenization of minerals in nullsec. Like at this point, the only thing that differentiates them aside from rat type is if it has an NPC space. So if we added NPC space to every nullsec space, it would just become a case of geography, which I guess isn't terrible, but it would be a big. The homogenization of nullsec space, is that something that people want? I guess it doesn't really matter at this
It's
point.
not going to. They're already talking about introducing differences between regions with the dynamic ore stuff, and this can be quite a nice segue. I assume the next topic would be, because these new storms that are coming out are going to be ways to make two different regions different. Granted, they're moving around constantly, but I'm sure it opens the gateway of introducing differences and making things worth fighting over. Giving people objectives to fight over is like number one on CCP's list.
Are these storms really going to make a difference though? Because say you're a nullsec PvE orientated player or a crab, right? And you I think we can probably all agree that most hardcore crabbing characters from all groups, they have their system, right? They have that solar system. They don't really like leaving that solar system. In my experience, they really do not like leaving that solar system to go anywhere else. Even if it's a case of someone's mining my rock, like they will just stay in that system and be discontent there as opposed to going somewhere else. So if these storms are going to come through and they're going to move on a 24-hour basis, I think that most people are just going to say, well, I don't log in for 5 days and I can go back to grabbing. And I think that'll be the predominant reaction.
Redline, do you have like a sound bit of transitioning into the cloud talk?
No, I don't. I don't have a soundbite for that at all. It's just this. We're just having a conversation here. We're talking about stuff.
So it definitely, I kind of misspoke earlier. It would definitely be disingenuous of me to say that the storms are going to have any effect on the sort of large scale PvP that we see in nullsec. They're kind of on the scale of the Yeet filament, where it's just meant to add interesting day-to-day stuff. And it's important to note that you're right that people might choose to just log off instead of interacting with the storms, but that's why CCP have added a PvE buff to all of them. I think the relic site PvE buff that one of them has is just terrible, but the rest of them, especially the ore one, is probably enough, where you have a temporary bonus to your space for 5 to 6 days. Maybe it's worth undocking, taking a little extra risk than usual, and going and making a bit of extra risk.
I don't understand why they can't just introduce the fucking roaming minerals and resources and like
Yeah, I don't know why
fields
that's...
without all this additive bullshit that like no, there was nothing like who enjoyed the fucking Roman drifters? Spoiler alert, fucking nobody. And now
Pretty sure NC loved it.
Yeah.
dude, I have my entire fucking industrial complex got reinforced into whole armors on every single structure I owned because of those fuckers.
We're getting it like reinforced, I believe, by initiative and like fucking test at the time, and then like the rats are doing it too. It's like fuck, dude.
Dude, that shit was amazing.
Yeah, but then the rats started doing it in Delve, and then people started packing up and going. It was pretty good.
I'm curious. We had the CSM release a statement that they would not make any changes that would affect this war, and
No,
here
they didn't.
we are.
So
Fucking not. Go back and read that statement. Rich, leave chat. Open up Reddit right now and go back and read that statement. It says they will carefully consider changes that would affect the war before implementing them. There is nothing like this war is going to last for 3 to 6 months. Do you expect the developers to stop for 3 to 6 months adding features to their most popular area of space?
Yes.
That is so
They could have
unrealistic.
changed. They could have released something that didn't affect it like this. I don't give a damn either way. But to me, this is a
they could have
big
given us
middle
ample
finger to that
advance
statement.
notice. Or they could have given us ample
That
advance
doesn't
notice
stop
to prepare for the
fucking
change.
in-game activities. What the fuck are you thinking?
Like,
I
there's
mean,
absolutely
I
the
read this
people who
weather
say
thing.
TCP, like whether you like the mechanic or not, like ignoring that for a second, people saying that TCP have done something wrong by affecting the war by launching it's ridiculous. Like CCP planned this since, I think Convict said since Vegas they were talking about weather effects. They're not going to delay their roadmap by 6 months because a war's going on, especially with something that honestly doesn't. It's not going to affect it a huge amount. Like it's if a weather effect spawns somewhere, then yeah, it's going to delay things by a week or two. But that's mostly down to the specifics of the stat nerfs, which I think we're going to see change before release, because I had a very productive conversation with Phantomite this afternoon, and I think he agrees with me that the no cloaking and the remote rep are both particularly bad bonuses. The cloaking because it just
maybe there's no cloaking.
What about the warp scram distance? You don't think a
get to that.
48k scram is fair? You think that's okay?
We can get to that, but the
that
no
affects
cloaking and
Rich. That affects their fucking little kitey shit.
shenanigans, yeah. Just
Doesn't
fly
affect me at
phantasms.
all.
But
I
anyway,
just switched.
the-
Yeah, I just
no
removed my
cloaking.
point off my interceptor, put a afterburner bill.
Just do that, fly succubus, dude. Anyway, the no cloaking is quite important because, just as an example off the top of my head, it makes tackling supers harder because you can't cloak micro warp in sabers anymore. So it nerfs PvE. Cloaky camping is nerfed, which is a controversial topic, so we can skip over that. Things as simple as traveling through nullsec get worse, which, if there's no clear indication on the UI that you're about to move into a storm system, people are just going to die through no fault of their own because they didn't like +1 themselves or whatever. It's kind of dumb that people are going to traveling and just feed for no reason. And then the remote ret stuff. Me and Rain disagree a little bit here because Rain is like, I want my Logi to work. Essentially, it's because she really enjoys the Logi role. I think that as far as the fleet battles go, it's going to temporarily add some interesting niches and make things just more varied for a little bit of time. However, remote rep nerfs to this degree are bad because it makes Citadel bashing with subcaps impossible. And that just would stop any sort of warfare that's currently happening in that region, because your only way to kill Citadels then would be putting Dreadnoughts on field. And if a storm spawns in Delve as people are moving in and killing structures in Delve, they're probably not going to put active tank dreads on Citadels under Goon's super umbrella. So it would put a hamper on the war to that degree. So I think that's a bad change. I think the cloak's pretty bad. The point is sort of in line with like the local tank bonus and a couple of the others, where it sounds really strong, but at the end of the day, you can predict where the storms are moving. You can make a choice as a roamer to not enter a storm territory, and if you do, you can bring a specific doctrine. You can bring phantasms, you can bring succubuses, you can bring high DPS sniper ships, the sort of things that are going to kill the 40-kilometer Scram Arazus. Bearing in mind the Scram bonus is in the same effect as the remote rep. How long do you think that 80-kilometer Scram Arazu, or whatever it is going to survive without remote reps? Like, there's ways around that sort of huge buff, and if you go into the fight expecting 80k Scrams, you can plan around them quite easily.
Yeah, no,
Okay,
I
I'm
totally
done.
agree, dude. I totally agree. And like, also, what I kind of find really kind of neat, I didn't like these changes at first when I first heard them, and I started thinking about it. It does bring out a lot of like really weird little niche kind of ways of fighting, and I'm not saying like talking about big, like large scale fleets or anything like that, but you know, you could have a planned fight in a place like that with really interesting ships that don't get used. It, you know, local
But
tank things.
here's the thing though. You're talking about nullsec. Like, you're talking about one of the most organized parts of EVE Online, where everyone flies the doctrine, like, and new doctrines don't just come out on the fly. We're not all pro God Legend, God bless his heart. So like, you're talking about fundamentally changing this space, and not really for the better. And to do it, like, I would love for CCP to, you know, develop and, you know, bring about cool changes to the game, but is this really the one that we needed right now?
Thinking about this too much. Thinking about it too much in the context of fleet doctrines. This
No,
isn't a
what I'm
change.
thinking about, let me tell you what I'm thinking about. I'm actually thinking about the fact that we still have Fozzisav, which has been complained about for years. We still have bullshit Citadel timers, which Gremlin says is gonna burn out all of our guys that are currently grinding through all of Fountain. Thank God he didn't hear me say that. Like, we have all these things that are fundamentally wrong with nullsec, and instead of getting a meaningful change to those systems, we get fucking what? Fancy weather effects?
You say that as if the two things are interchangeable. That's not how it works. A niche sort of mechanic like this is the same sort of thing as the Abyssal PvP, where it was probably a dev's passion project that got enough polish that it got implemented into the game. Probably a completely different team to the sort of people who balance it at Alzheimer's. You're thinking too much. You're looking at dev time and treating it kind of like allocatable SP in Eve. You can't just allocate SP to different departments and expect those things to suddenly be super polished. That's not how it works. Certain devs are going to be working on different things. It like them investing dev time into this doesn't necessarily mean that they would have been investing dev time into FuzzySoft had they not been working on that.
Why not? Why wouldn't they be? If a developer is working on one thing, like
CCP.
say in a world where multitasking doesn't exist, if a developer is working on one thing, then they're not going to be working on another. Like,
At
sure,
CCP
you can.
Games. Sorry, Karen.
You can have a passion project and all that, but to people that actually fly in nullsec, like most of us in this channel, nullsec is our passion product, or our passion project. And seeing it, I just said the words passion product. That is a very interesting name for
You carry on. I have
For
a
your
point to make
mugs, dude.
too.
yeah.
Paperwork.
I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought after I said passion product. Go ahead,
In a
make your point,
world-
Rain.
I jump in with like some circle jerk 2 cents because I've had questions about this on stream, but my concern with it though is just like the randomness of it, and maybe I'm not 100% right because sure of how they're going to implement it. Like, can I pull up in the map and be like, okay, I have a wormhole to this area, like, and I have to travel through these systems. What do we need to bring, etc. But my like beef with it is it seems just more of like CCP is making something, they're slapping it into the game, and there's nothing we as players can do about it. It's either like adapt or die. It feels very adapt or die. I don't know if that's the right phrase, but I feel like they could have implemented this in like such a better way to like give power to the players, right? Like you have Triglavians versus Edencom. There's like, why not create an item that grants, I don't know, these storm effects within a system, and then as an attacker or defender in some massive nullsec area, like whether it be this war or roaming gangs going out and about with their yeet fleet filaments that create these storms, and people have to learn and adapt to them. Like, why not have something more that's in the hands of the player that give power to the player to actually affect and like implement changes within the game or affect their gameplay or their space, rather than just, hey guys, here's a weather effect, good fucking luck, deal with it. Like, that's how it feels to me. It feels very just like, deal with it, here you go, good fucking luck, instead of, hey guys, here's this new feature, you can use it, if you use it, great, like, look how cool it is. Like, if you're getting, for example, like the Loro Seco mentioned, like structure bashing, like, oh, your structure's being attacked, therefore implement this, and the enemy can't use remote reps, so therefore they have to drop dreads, and then you can strategize to this and that and this and that, and like, that seems so much more cool. Like, I would be so excited if there was something like that.
Like what you're saying is kind of along the lines of and a neat little idea I came up. Well, I think it's neat is that like instead of forcing a specific environmental attribute on us, like why not drop quote unquote Triglavian nodes that get hacked like I mean, this is essentially another FuzzySoft type project. So let it get hacked like the fucking FuzzySoft, and one group can start hacking one way, and the other group can hack the node in a way that they prefer, and then it adjusts the effects of the system based on who's doing more hacking, and then it forces everybody onto like the same point for flights and shit. And
yeah, I think me and you, Rain, definitely agree that when it comes to these mechanics, the control should probably be in the hands of the players rather than randomly to the game. But unfortunately, that's often just not how the way CCP thinks. They like the random and adventures, like in Wormhole Space, and they, for whatever reason, seem to be averse to giving us control over these sorts of things, which sucks, but it's just something we got to put up with, unfortunately, for the most part.
Do they?
You've got an alliance of
these storms go away? Do they
100%
just like,
if you can't brainstorm up something to deal with these weathers, then
Rich, not everything is a fucking 5-man fleet. God damn it! It takes like time to put together these.
No, I've already found the solution to Rain's concerns about the Logi being useless in one of the storms, and the answer is you fit localized reps and localized shield
Oh my
boosters
God,
to
you're
the DPS
so
ships,
Or I
use your
just don't
logic
fight.
to feed
Or I
back
just don't
into them.
fight. Like that's the other option too. I don't like something in the game. I just don't fight in it. FC says, "Hey guys, we're gonna go fight in a storm." We say, "Nope. Let's wait till next week when the storm's moved on." There you go. And like then that's like shitty for the gameplay, right? Like there's nothing to get around
Billy
it.
has already discussed this on Talking in Stations. If there's a fight condition that the weather, if there is a fight that the weather would affect, to him, he wouldn't have taken that fight anyway, whether or not. Like
To
to him, he
who?
would only to Billy. He's talked about this on Talking in Stations, and there was an argument with him and Cable about it. But if there was a fight that he wanted to take, he would take it whether or not if it was ruined by the weather or not. If it was a fight that he didn't want to take, whether or not he wouldn't take it. If there was a fight that he wanted to take, whether or not he, he would take it. His fight conditions aren't affected by the weather. Is what I came to understand.
In most scenarios, yes, but at the end of the day, you can't bash a citadel in subcaps if it's manned without logi. Just doesn't work. You can't local tank a goddamn citadel. I don't know if you've ever tried.
Local tanking fleets of more than 10 people isn't a thing, right? Like that's common knowledge, right? Like
it's not a thing.
Yeah,
if we're
Bruce doesn't have
talking about
experience with anything more than 4 or 5 fucking people of his, or his, 4 or 5 of his bots, so he doesn't know this. Like, so
And
his
if you start
commentary
back
here
to
is
Citadel
absolutely
when you
useless.
have a weather
Your
effect,
commentary here is about as useful as a poopy flavored lava bot.
well, that's your problem. If you start bashing a keep star and the weather effect is 5 jumps away, can you really be surprised when you go for the structure timer and there's weather there? Start bashing when the weather is further away. Go for something else.
You've just proven our point that you can't adapt to the weather. You just have to wait until it leaves. Like that's what you've just that's what me and Rain have been saying.
That's the keep star going from
specific
hole to shield and
Look,
repair.
but in a lot of cases, this is kind of, especially if you're part of a null block, there's really no point in even giving a shit about this, except for bashing citadels with that specific storm thing. But if you have like 200 eagles, who gives a shit if you can't rep? Like you'll just burn through whatever is stopping you from continuing on to wherever you need to get to go.
it'd be
Right? Like,
interesting to see
really the
like
reality of it.
200 hacks versus 200 hacks with no logic. That would be an interesting fight.
It's not. That's what happens all the time. That's Munins,
It's
dude.
called Munins Online, dude.
TTT. You guys remember when people were fighting over the TTT in Highsec? That's all it was. DPS versus DPS. Really fucking engaging mechanics. And someone's like, well, there weren't bombers and bubbles. And I'm like, oh, okay. Slap 20 bombers in there and be like, oh, wow, they all died. Like, great. Good job. Bet it was super fucking fun, guys.
Yeah,
out
it's
as well
just
that
endless fucking stream of T1 cruisers and shit. Like,
The weather update, it's interesting, but is it really necessary? Is it really good? I saw it and I thought to myself, what the fuck are you thinking, CCP?
It's a salary justification change. That's all it is.
Probably.
It's some guy that has to justify his existence at the company, and he's like, guys, I did this thing with the weather and the space and the things.
In a lot of cases, wormhole travel also negate a lot of the shit too. If you don't want to go through a specific area in space, you're just going to need to find a different route, and that's quite possible to do.
No one's going to care about going through it, right? No one's going to care about going through it. No one wants to fight in a situation.
Well, I mean, like if you have like a small amount of dudes for some reason and you don't want to go do that because say you're part of a small alliance, then I mean you could always just find another wormhole chain.
Maybe the raincoat, galoshes.
You say that as if finding wormhole change is particularly easy. As someone who's mapped 600 wormholes this month, if I had a choice between spending 2 hours scanning for an optimal route or just going 6 jumps to a weather effect, I'd probably go through the weather effect.
No, but generally you find an optimal route, right? And then but you're going to find a less optimal route as well.
July?
Like,
or is that August?
The what,
no,
sorry?
I said March. You said 600 this month. Is that like August or is that July?
Check my exact stats. I believe because Siggy tracks your wormhole stats. I mapped this month so far. I've mapped 144, and in July I mapped 476. So about 600 in the last 30 days, give or take.
Yeah, I mapped 146 this month so far. So.
Yeah, it's good. It's good stuff scanning. It's therapeutic, but ultimately it's a lot of time and effort. So using wormholes to avoid the storms probably isn't gonna.
I'm not saying it's not a lot of time and effort, but if you're part of an alliance with more than, I don't know, like a couple of hundred people, there's going to be a couple of dudes doing it regardless of whether you need it or not, right? I mean,
Here,
in those
here's
cases, at least for your surrounding areas, like they're gonna do it anyway. So the information is going to be there. So you're gonna find the most optimal route, or you're gonna find the least optimal route. If the least optimal route still gets you around where you don't want to go, then you'll just use that. It's gonna be
Well,
an extra 10
that
or 20
doesn't
jumps or
work.
whatever.
That doesn't work because
here's a real concern though.
wait. The same groups that have the number of people to have that constant information of scanning
Or
are the
no
same
logs.
groups that the fleets can't fit through the wormholes twice. So they're going to take 6 jumps over a wormhole. And like, if you're not planning on fighting there, the weather doesn't make a difference. The only time that's going to make a difference is in combat, and some of them are so absurdly weird. Like wasn't there like a 50% damage increase, or I know there was a 90% remote repair thing we discussed. But
There's a lot of resist penalties too, which are like 25% resist penalties. But I don't think you're listening to what I'm saying. What I'm saying is like, so if you're a large no block, yeah, it's not gonna matter. Like you just take your ships through the fucking thing. Who cares? You have like 200 ships. Doesn't matter. If you're part of a smaller alliance, my argument was, well, you could always use wormholes to get around that. Laura Sago said, no, you can't. And I was like, okay.
I mean, okay, let's.
Well, I want to make a
It
comment.
makes
I want to
my
make a
point was
comment
it
real
makes
quick.
wormhole travel slightly more important. I'll just put it that way.
No, fair enough. Fair enough.
So here's my main concern about this though is that it doesn't specify a time of when these space clouds expire. Like, are they ever
They don't.
existing, or do they like?
I think
they
they
don't expire.
expire.
So here's
They just move.
So that could be potentially a really bad fucking issue. Because take example like period basis, for example, or like branch or something. They have like 2 entrances in and out, like 2 systems. So the whole time this thing's just like fucking, if it gets in there,
no,
and it
it did
randomizes.
say no. It's got an algorithm to prevent it doubling back on itself and getting stuck in a place. It did say that, but I see what you mean. Like in a place like period basis, like in the patch notes it said if there was no other option, it could double back on itself. But
It's
I think
also
it's always going to choose a fresh route over over looping over itself.
It's
Well,
also worth
there's
mentioning that even if it does get stuck, CCP can manually remove it and put it somewhere else, which they've said that they're going to be manually tweaking them and adding new ones or removing ones or things like that. There's just no automated expiry.
This
yeah,
is
I
true.
see that being very fucking just a cancer for logistics and shit like that.
Yeah, I agree with you, especially the no cloaking. Like it's just inconvenience. It's not fun gameplay. Not being able to cloak. It's just pure inconvenience.
And also, if they're having to have a hand-on approach to it, right, where they're like intervening, if it's of all times to introduce something like this when there's a war going on, as soon as one shows up, it's going to be like, oh, that's in favor of X block, and then if they remove it, it's going to be, oh, well, that was in favor of Y block. It's just the stupidest time to introduce the stupidest change. Like, fair enough, it's a stupid change. They've had plenty of them. It's going to happen, but this is not the time to introduce them at all.
I still don't understand why they just can't introduce roaming fucking like mineral resources and stuff like that.
Well, it's on the horizon, isn't it? It's just they're just
It's
dragging their
involved.
goddamn feet with it.
It's in that storm change. It's just it brings
it's
the fucking space clouds with it.
They're going to do I'm no industrialist, so you'll probably know better than me, but they want to do this whole dynamic or anomaly thing, right?
Yeah.
And which is coming. It's just they're dragging their freaking feet with it.
Oh, coronavirus.
Why are they dragging their feet with it? Is it because they're
No idea.
spending time developing space storms?
Well, they've probably had
I don't
space storms ready. They've probably had that ready for a while, right? Like they talked about it 2 years or even like longer ago. Like it's not new, right? They've announced it before, but the last couple of months, you got to think, they probably haven't all been in the office every day, working every day. They've probably been working from home if they've been working at all. So,
well, it's the
that's
summer,
200.
so it's worth pointing out that Iceland have very lax laws about holidays in the summer, so a lot of CCP simply haven't been in for that reason. It's like this every year. That's why the CSN transition period's in June, July, because there's not many CCP around actually implementing things. It may be that Vert is right and this mechanic was created a while back and they've just put it here for the sake of being able to release a content patch for this month. That might even be the reason that it's coming out now. You never know.
I also think that they're going a little too strong. Like they don't need to offset like the PvP theater or environment by like the significant effects that these storms have, like 25% resist on this or whatever. Like these storms, if they just did like up to like a 5% just enough to give like another doctrine an advantage over a competing doctrine, like the Munin, for example.
So here's a question. Ignoring the specifics of the storm, like the stats, the remote rep, the no cloaking, whatever, just taking the concept of the storm that moves around and gives buffs and debuffs, what do you think of that? Assuming that CCP wipe the slate clean and reinvent new stats that are all like not derogatory to.
I mean, that's that's something that everybody was like, you know, that's an interesting idea. And when they brought it up in Vegas, we all like, I mean, that could be cool. Like if they did it right. The thing is that whenever they go in with their nerf hammers or their boost hammers of trying to offset stuff, make stuff better, make stuff worse, or whatever, it's like they just fucking knock it out of the park. Versus like
It's the same
sometimes you just
thing
need
with
to
a
take
lot
a
of their
bite.
introductions. Like the concept, okay, execution terrible. Well, I mean that you could use that to describe most CCP changes, right? They came up with a cool idea, they implemented it terribly. Like a lot of things can be like the jump bridges and there's so many things you could describe in the same way.
Yeah, like instead of here's one. How about like a storm instead of like fucking up your reps and shit like that? Why doesn't it just flip the negatives of armor to shield? So like having more of your shield extenders that slows your ship down or some shit.
How about effects that have effect on infrastructure, things like raising damage caps, lowering ADMs, that sort of thing in the storms?
Yeah, I mean,
like there's
like I said,
all sorts of
Imagine
all sorts of
losing
fun
Bob
things.
because the storm came through.
Well, defense
You
is already pretty
I
strong,
know,
so
you should still
encouraging
be
people to
able
attack.
it.
Yeah,
ADMs
it's
aren't
quite
actually that important, to be fair. Like, yeah, well,
I've
I mean, if
done-
you can't defend your own alliance, right, from the get go, you probably don't deserve the sob just because your ADMs are high. So if your ADMs
Yeah.
are low, and you can't defend your sob, then you're probably already fucking dead anyway. You just don't know it yet.
Yeah, so
You
it's
know,
just a little
so-
extra nudge for any attackers nearby to go for it. And as somebody who has done a lot of toasting this war, I would kill everyone that I love for something that decreases ADMs. Like, please give me that.
I don't know. I may have to, because I may have to disagree with that point. Because
With the ADM specifically?
because you work X amount of time on generating an ADM system, and then like it could be like next door to your fucking headquarters, and then all of a sudden this shit comes in, drops the ADMs low, and then like
Yeah, but Bill, what happens if I go right now? I go down to 1DQ. Let's pretend that the ADMs are like almost zero. It's going to take me like 12 minutes to just hack through this thing, right? I start my Entosis cycle. What do you think is going to happen in the first 4 minutes that the goons hear or see a ping?
probably absolutely nothing. There's literally
No,
fragments
you're
like
gonna get
100
fucking
kilometers off of the
dude.
keep star.
There's no way I would be able to complete a cycle even if it only took me 12 minutes. There's no fucking way, dude. It's fine.
Dude, yeah, like if you have 5 dudes or whatever, you could probably get away with hacking a 12-minute fucking iHub in 1DQ. There's a lot of things you can get away with in
They're just
1DQ.
brain dead in 1DQ. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that we suffer from false sense of
Brainwashing?
safety and head.
Great salt mining?
Let me. Oh,
Out of war, dude, where we were actively doing this in obviously the enemy's time zone, and it's a lot more difficult than you would think. If they're good at defending their own solve, it's going to take a lot more than just a few decreased ADMs to to completely allow you to take their systems away. That's just not gonna. It's not how it works, really.
Let's take
what's happening in Eve right
staging.
now?
Let's take Horde's main system, home system. What's the name of it again? What's Horde's? Someone remind me real quick.
R10.
Yeah, R10. Yeah, so
Just staging for the war.
I thought it was
like,
PNQ. Why?
We dropped dreads and 2 titans and like shot 2 titans for upwards of 20 minutes without any sort of response.
Someone
What's
hit
going on, Redline?
jump instead of bridge? In what
On which
system?
side?
Hmm.
On which side, dude? Who did it?
I don't know, dude.
Well, to be fair, like NC Renters at a certain point lost a Titan that I was up for, but that was like it was on and off. It was like 2 a.m. It's not even AUTZ. It's before AUTZ. It's like Chinese time zone maybe. Like there was nobody up for it, and so it just died. It also died to like 30 icky Terses back when they were brand new. So like nobody really
mean-
expect.
You mean
I
future
mean,
stock
it's
runners?
totally Pig farmers.
Whoa,
or
what are you
some
trying to
shit.
say?
It's totally. You can go into someone's solve and do stuff. That's all I'm saying. At peak time zones or times when like vulnerability windows should be set, I don't think that that's something that's going to be happening a lot. I could be wrong. I'm just saying, like, I'm pretty sure it's worked out for everyone so far. So I don't know. I don't think it's just solely ADMs that are keeping everything together, dude.
I just don't have the effort to argue about ADMs and FuzzySolve right now. It's just too
I mean,
much.
who does? Whoever does.
It.
Yeah.
See, I love
Fuzzy
arguing about solve because we know I'll never have to take part in it.
Fuzzy Self isn't even that. It only gets bad if there's tie-dye. It's not a terrible system. It's not the worst.
I mean, like whenever we took tribute and like the 4 or 5 days it took, or Venal, I can't remember which
Shut the
one, or
fuck
Vel,
up, Bill.
Yeah, no, you took Venal. You took Venal.
or Vel. So and yeah, like it was pretty chill because we would just like put our dudes on it and then hack it or whatever, and is about the same immersive gameplay as mining rocks or something.
See, one of the most fun fleets I've ever had in this game was an Entosis fleet.
Yeah.
I honestly like if you're doing it as part of a massive invasion thing, I'm sure it's horrible. But doing it as like a small gang, kind of troll doing it just to get like the locals to feed into you is you can have so much fun with it. That
Yes.
the VVV Titan kill mail in Coral Edge I don't even know when it was, but it was we were just trolling Tosising. It was adversity, mainly adversity, and Micro were helping about 10 people on TeamSpeak, just trolling Tosising a system. I think it was their staging system to try and get them to come and fight us. And they were chasing us around. They were bridging after us, battleship fleets, and it ended up with them accidentally fleet warping a Titan off a gate. Then we bubbled it and it got out, and then it jumped to a beacon. Then we tackled it on a beacon with 2 people and 3 dictors for 45 minutes, and it ended up with some grand Titan execution in front of their keep star. It was. I understand on a massive scale it's boring as hell, right? Like doing it when you're doing it, it's like a chore. But doing it for fun, you can have so much fun with it. So like you can have so much fun with it. And 10 guys on TeamSpeak and Tosising the VVV staging system ended up with supers killing a Titan in front of a keep star with 600 people in the system. It was so much fun. I know that's not the normal experience of POSISOF, but if you can use it to get some good fun, right? It doesn't have to be a invasion criteria. It can just be doing it to have some fun.
Yeah, just forcing a response that.
Yeah, that they wouldn't. If you were just camping the gate, they're not going to come and do it, right? But if you're Tosising their home system where they've got a Satoyo building supers, they got to come and do something. And then that gives you the opportunity to make some plays.
Redline, are you gonna like move a little? Are you gonna run USMC this shit? Are you gonna get us a little interceptor somewhere to watch what's going on?
What's up?
Yeah, I see some goon dictors feeding in 40Q on Zkill in Stain.
Is that a D? G.
GQ.
I love the D.
Oh, did I misspell it? Sorry, yeah, it's 4GQ. My mistake.
Oh, I just got nope. We're not linking this. Nope, Sky Gunner, you're not gonna put your channel here. I'm getting there.
Did someone send you a picture of their peepee again?
No.
And it was, yes, it was, and it was bigger than his.
So it was like anybody in chat then, yeah?
Yeah, pretty much. Redline, where's my 500 mil?
For what?
Dude, when you died on stream the other day, well, like 2 months ago,
Talking about
when you were doing that 2v1 with that random dude, that like solo PvPer, you and your boy went and fed, and you owe me 500 mil.
As soon as we're looking at this fight, I need to ask you a question, Bill, because this has been on my mind for a long time.
No, I'm not renting BWF from you. You have to
I've already got renters in place for BWF. The Goonswarm Devoter fit, it has irked my soul for the longest time. Overdrive injector system and nanofiber on a Devoter.
Really?
Please, it has
What?
been this way. It has been this way for so long, and it genuinely upsets me. If you can't say, you can't say. But I just think it is the most peculiar of choice for a heavy interdictor cruiser, supposedly one of the tankiest ships, to have a nanofiber and an overdrive injector system.
I don't ever fly that specific Hector, so
It's
I have no idea. I mean, you know that I like all my fits and shit. I pretty much do put together
yeah,
myself. I don't really take
but you're
part in
the only goon here. I just well,
I
I
haven't
just don't
looked at
understand.
it. I'll look at it though.
It's well, I'll put it in. I'll link it to you. I'll put it in Twitch chat, I guess.
I don't think you can.
I can.
I think
Now,
you can put it in the cesspool, and
okay.
somebody else can put it in the Twitch chat.
Dip it in the cesspool.
Sorry, I know you guys are looking for somebody to, keep the show going here. These guys are doing a great job. I'm navigating through 10% data right now to apparently get to something interesting. I'm like so far away.
A devoter, I think we all know, is supposed to be a tanky boy, and having a nanofiber. I know it's only 2 small modules, right? But it just baffles my mind, my simple little mind, why the tankiest ship in a subcat fleet, except maybe a damnation, would have a nanofiber and an overdrive injector system.
Oh fuck, Apollo fucking logs, dude. That's awesome.
Leaking logs, bro. Oh my 500 mil.
Jesus Christ, I don't have 500 mil. Okay.
You broke son of a bitch.
I have 654 million ISK. Can you relax?
So you have 500 mil. So let's go.
You really want me to give you 500 of my 654 million?
Dude,
ISK?
I'm pretty sure I gave you 87 mil of that. So let's come on, let's go.
Just send him a mug, Redline.
My friend,
X up an alliance.
I know a guy called Azaki.
Oh, that's fucked up, and you know that.
What?
How about I X up an alliance? I'm not in your alliance.
Oh no!
You fucking guy.
Oh no!
Go eating son of a bitch.
Dude, I'm dropping a dread on you next time I see you ratting in fucking PNQ.
Dude, please
Get a place in line, dude.
Apollo 428, right? You're in recon?
Yeah.
Alright.
He's the leader of recon.
Is he?
I would assume.
Unfortunately.
There you go. There's 500 mil. Suck a giant dick.
Thank you.
This because Alliance is seen in many days.
That's right. Now I can finally afford to pay out some SRP.
This puppy can fit so many interceptors in it.
You were Brisk Rebullion-esque for taking over his show.
Yeah, sure.
Brisk gave the show away.
He's like, here, Redline, you can have it now. I'm done with it.
I'm done using it.
This is our show. This is our show.
He said a lot of things that were very confusing. I had a hard time keeping up with Brisk.
I mean, it's Brisk, so.
Apparently, he was never in Fountain. I don't know.
No, that I mean.
Didn't want those keep stars anyway.
Well, it's a 5 stages of grief. It's very common in Imperium members.
We've memed a lot about the Fountain situation, but like the reality of the situation is, I think expectations were over optimistic about how defensible Fountain was, and I don't know if that was, well, it was kind of misguided. Like Fountain's not a very defensible space, especially once you've lost some eye hubs and the entrance constellation. They probably should immediately, as soon as you have 4 times your numbers on your doorstep in Fountain and you've got allies in Delve's where you should be going. And on one hand, they should have probably immediately evacuated, but realistically, if you're an init leader, you're not going to say to your boys as soon as people turn up on the doorstep, "All right, boys, we're out of here. Let's get to Delve," because that's a hard thing for people to stomach, right? No one wants to hear that.
I also think that it's there's a lot of people that are like getting way too fucking stuck hardcore in these narrative honeypots and shit like that. Like,
is his name the Matani?
No.
He's kind of the king of narrative, dude. He has an entire show dedicated to narrative honeypots.
No, dude. He's like the most factual individual that we have on the Eve community.
Oh my god.
I guess that means you guys are pretty
That's
fucked. But
that's
nobody
some
knows
fucking
what
bold
the fuck's
words
going on.
there.
Well, yeah, you can see it in the reflection of his followers and, in fact, himself. When you make a goal that is impossible, you just move the goalpost behind the ball and declare a victory.
Rich, I'm gonna enjoy your Fortizar death so fucking much. It's going to be
Wow.
like I'm pretty sure that everybody will jointly take a break
I'm
from this
pretty sure
war
Rich
just to
do you
kill
even
your
own?
fucking Fortizar.
I don't think
Yeah,
Rich
they
owns a
got one.
Fortizar.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what.
Do
If
you
you
have a Fortizar,
we'll,
Rich?
we'll cook up and we'll bash our own
Rich,
structure.
does Framing Dragons have a Fortizar?
Okay.
I'll PM you, Bill. I'll PM you later.
So moving
Yeah.
away from Fountain into another region which has seen a lot of structures being bashed recently, let's talk about Pravi. Oh, hey, look, we have Coat Hang a Strangler on the show. Coat, would you like to tell us a little bit about what's been going on in Pravi in recent days?
Are you trying to sound like Redline right now? Because you sound
Yeah, dude.
almost exactly like him.
I just been
Hold on,
listening to
what-
him way too much, dude.
I thought
So
that was
actually, Coat's on the show, and like we actually are going to talk about Pravi now. So
Why would
shut
you
the fuck up,
insult
Bill.
Loki like that? That's
I know,
fucked up,
right?
man.
Fucking hurts, dude.
Hey guys,
What's up,
Hey,
Coat?
Coat. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing great, man. Doing great.
That's cool. Tell us about Pravi.
Well, unfortunately for Wrecking Crew, I'm sure most people are aware that a few weeks ago we gave them a nip. And our hopes was for them to rebuild, and us still have some dudes to fight around in our area. Unfortunately, it looks like Probi Block took the nip as their chance to evac most of their assets from the area and move out of the region.
So
In
you
your
bullied
defense,
them out of their home.
They moved themselves out. I think it's fair to say.
Would the phrase "fleeing like cowards" be appropriate?
Yeah, I mean the end result's not something that we were personally looking for. You know, we weren't in the game to crush Provi Block and make them non-existent. The whole point of the NIP was so they can rebuild and grow. I guess that wasn't their plan though.
You kind of sound like the guy who is putting up a new casino in a place where a bunch of people live in like a trailer park, which is Providence. So Providence is a trailer park, right? And then this casino comes in and just wipes everybody out, and they have no place to live now.
Oh, hey, we have Vertizo on the show too. Vertizo, you're in Snuff, right, dude?
yes.
All right, so let's talk about Snuff's involvement in Pravi Block affairs while CVA flees/fights. I guess. What happened there, Coat?
Well, it's a very little known fact that for the last 4 years, CVA has been a rental organization run by Snuffed Out, and we're now ready to reveal that fact.
I'm sorry, your name's
Perfect.
not
I
Coat,
mean,
but that's amazing rhetoric, though.
that's the answer we've been looking for this whole time, to be honest.
Well, yeah,
it's-
it's because there was a better space, right? Because Providence
Well,
was
yeah,
just not.
because our renters weren't happy in Providence, so we've been looking at Germany as a place to relocate our renters to. Hence the BWF enticing.
That's going to be a really interesting development over there. I would say.
Well, we're trying to stay blue to everyone, right? Because that's just like the Snuff way, is to make sure everyone's on the same page.
You're like reverse engineering the color blue, right?
Well, blue's just a color, right? Like, as long as people think you're blue, then it doesn't really matter if you are blue or not. I mean, if someone has you blue, you don't have to have them blue.
So, how many like ex Pravi Block alliances did you guys go after Vertizo? Because I kind of feel like, are you guys just friends with CVA? Is that the thing, and then everyone else gets dicked on? Because it kind of seems like that's sort of what's going on right now. It's like, I don't know, dude.
No. I mean, we came just for. I mean, are you talking about our deployment in Lantern? Because that's been a yearly thing since before I even joined Snuff.
Oh, and Lantern, yeah, sure. No, that's true.
It's just because Siege Green have always historically given tough fights, which is kind of the only reason most people in Snuff play the game. Like, stuff's not, contrary to popular belief, Snuff isn't the group you want to be in if you want to have an easy win all the time. Because, I mean, today we had a ISK win, even though we didn't really deserve it. We didn't really play that well. But we fought outnumbered, came ahead on top, but still played pretty poorly. But I mean that's the reason we're in Lantorn, right? It's like I said, it's a yearly deployment, fights to be had. And it's hard to get a guaranteed fight these days. Like Siege Green are always good dudes. So like, I mean, on one hand we're fighting Siege Green in Lantorn and the surrounding areas, and then one of their roaming gangs the other day caught a raw call near Blackrise and poked us, and we came and killed it with them. Like there's no desire to exterminate each other, right? As far as I know, it's a desire to have fights. And that's pretty much the driving force behind most of it.
Yeah, Siege Green are actually an amazing group to fight if no one's had the pleasure. They bring some caps, they bring some skill. I've had a lot of fun doing that in the past. I mean, I'm not gonna say like they killed the DZ jump by any means. I mean, Pred continuously whelping dreads into them may have killed the DZ jump, but they're just so fun to fight.
Isn't Wrecking Crew blue with Siege Green?
Currently, yeah. I just mean like back in the
Oh,
day.
okay. I was gonna say.
They've dunked me before that, so.
So what is
I mean,
actually
when-
happening in this? Is anybody like here at this fight that can talk about it?
Yeah, a test Titan jumped instead of bridged, and he's currently tackled. There's a friendly fax blob on top of him, but I'm assuming hostile. Yeah, I think a hostile fleet just landed.
No,
Yeah,
that's-
hostile. I think in it just landed.
Oh, we'll be fine.
This is gonna ruin the entire rhetoric of the show so far established.
I'm sorry. Continue.
But there's a lot of test subs on grid, but there's a lot of bubbles. Like it looks like this Titan's pretty hard tackled, and he's probably going to be here for a while. We'll see. He's still in shields right now, so like he's not.
What kind of
dying
Titan
yet.
is it?
It's an Erebus.
Oh, it's gonna be there for a while, yeah.
Oh, that's not one you want to get tackled.
It's
Oh.
not. But I see a lot of test faxes on. Well, I say a lot. That's not many these days after surgical strike, but there's enough on field that it will take some time for this to die, especially in 10% tie day.
Like we're talking 20, 30.
I'm not on grid. I'm just watching the stream. I'd say about that number, yeah.
Avatar Master Race, dude. Let him die.
There's also.
That's right.
I see test supers on field as well. At least one or two supers and a bunch of carriers.
This will be interesting in like a post-surgical strike world, right? Where can several subcap fleets hold a grid versus supers and wear down a Titan under fax reps? I'd be quite
Honestly,
interested to see
that is not. Sorry. Carry
go
on.
ahead. No, go
I
ahead.
was going to say that is not many faxes. It might be less than 20. I think it might only be 15.
I'm sure there'll be another wave.
Yeah, 15 and 20 versus subcaps is like probably okay. If there are dreads on grid, then obviously that's worthless. But like I've had a lot of discussions recently with people about like how the survivability of supers versus dreads and Titans versus dreads. Those two in it or horde, depending on who you talk to, those two Titans in White Hat 2 the other day, there was 30 dreads shooting them, about 50-50 split of T2 gun dreads and T1 gun dreads, right? Both the Titans died in 2 minutes of siege. Now, I know what the rank was hyperspatial in it, but it was armor and shield fit, and then the avatar was just standard old tanky boy fit. 2 minutes to kill 2 Titans with 30 dreads.
Jesus Christ.
That's not a long time at all.
Surgical strike did its work.
Yeah, I mean, surgical. I mean, so before surgical strike and before this war started, me and a couple of friends, we were hunting Titans in Delph, right? And this was when bosun ratting was a thing, so there was a lot more Titans about, and it was a lot easier. And it was easy to kill a Titan, but doing it ISK efficiently was like the thing we were interested in. So we were kind of trying to run the numbers on what was the most efficient way, like the least number of ships you could use to kill a Titan under an umbrella. And with even before surgical strike, if you take enough Newton carriers, you can kill a ratting Titan with a very small number of dreads, like a full tanked one, or maybe one gyro stabilizer or something. But now it is crazy how quickly you can kill a Titan. Titans, I think, are even probably like an Erebus. I'd rather shoot an Erebus over a Nyx.
they yeah, like a bomber gang. If you have a good enough bomber game, you can pretty much fucking alpha a Titan off the field almost. I mean, that's an exaggeration, of course, but
No, I get what you're saying.
Just
Like,
to interject, sorry, Goon subcaps appear to have just fleet walked off grid from the Titan. So I think this Titan might get out here. I don't see very many sabers bubbling it anymore. There's still plenty of bubbles up, but I think it might get out here.
Good guys win again.
We'll see. I may have spoken too soon. We'll see.
So I'm staying with my prediction.
I mean, it's
This
still
is-
test, dude. Relax.
This is insane, right?
Oh, that's fair, but still, you know.
It's insane. Yeah, I can't tell the system from the stream.
I mean, there's dreads all over the place. Who knows what appears out of anywhere? It depends if they're supers on grid. I mean, supers. How bad's the tie dye? I'm guessing it's 10% tie dye.
It's pretty deep, yeah.
Yeah,
Dread-
it's not quite 10% actually.
Well, dread bombing in tie dye is a pretty risky maneuver.
It's the tie-dye isn't high enough that dread bombing becomes like the 1% tie-dye mess of not being able to activate guns. I don't think.
That's what we had the other day in White Hat 2, where
Yeah.
it took 2 minutes of siege to kill the Titans, and then we sat there dying slowly for 45 minutes as we were all just kind of like chatting about, like, so what are you guys up to later? Yeah, me too. Like, you got nothing else to do. A dread bomb should be like a really quick and brief thing, right? Like when you sit there for like 5 minutes killing 2 Titans, then you sit there for 45 minutes, kind of. I think I remember suggesting that the PanFam dreads and the Snuff dreads have a dread 1v1 to just end it quicker, but no one else thought that was a good idea. That was just mine.
yeah, I mean, well, are we talking about having this dread bomb 1v1 and null sec or low sec? Because that
we were just talking.
significantly changes.
I was just suggesting that the dreads that had killed the 2 Titans in White Hat 2 should drop fleet and then just shoot each other based on standings or lack of, right? Just snuff. Just to end it quicker. It wasn't like out of a grudge match or anything. It was just I didn't want my guys to sit there for 45 minutes. I don't think anyone wanted to sit there for 45 minutes dying one at a time to Munins. But
How
I think
many dreads can you field now, Vert?
where
Just like in general, how many dudes can you multi-box and just drop on
oh
somebody?
personally, I have 6 dreadnoughts. I can competently do 6, like after a lot of practice. But there's a guy in Goons I know that can do 15. So Rathbon.
Oh really? Who is this
Rathbon.
person?
He's in Shadow State, I think. He joined
I
Trigger Happy.
I thought you were making a
Dude,
joke
the
about
guy-
me.
No, no.
Not everything's about you, Bill.
Sorry.
Jesus.
Sorry,
Holy
Phil. I
fuck.
didn't mean to ruin that for you. But
Bill the diva.
I was talking about Rathbon, the man that can actually multi-box 15. I mean, the guy can multi-box 15 dreads. And because I can remember, I didn't know him when I was in Goons. And after I left Goons, I remember looking at his battle report and thinking, okay, this guy's IS boxing. And I actually looked at the battle reports and I looked at the damage and all the things that he'd shot with his 15 dreads. And each one was like a server tick's worth of damage behind the other. And I was like, fair play, this guy actually multi-boxes 15 dreads. And it made me look at that's what made me go from 4 to 6. I was like, I need to do better.
Did you say Rathnon? Sorry.
Yeah.
Is this the old Wrecking Crew dude?
I don't know his history well enough.
Rathnon Drometas, I think.
No, it's just Rathbon. It's just Rathbon.
It's like you're like a weightlifter in the 70s, like as Arnold Schwarzenegger's becoming important. It's like, dude, I can do so much more than I thought.
Yeah, he could do 15 dreads, 15 faxes, 3 bomber wings.
Holy fuck, dude.
He can do 15 push keelers on his own. He's a very competent dude. When I was in Trigger Happy, we were both in Trigger Happy together, and in USTZ, we'd look at a fight and we'd think, okay, can we win this fight? And the first question was, is Rathbon online? Because Rathbon was like a force multiplier for our entire alliance. If Rathbon was online, it kind of doubled what we could do potentially in USTZ. He is a good dude, very good dude, very, very strong warrior.
How do you get better at that? You think you just go on CC and just start fucking going ham? Slowly implement, I guess. Start with 6.
Performance enhancing drugs.
Start with 6 and then work your way up to 15. fuck, dude?
I
It's crazy.
a lot of cocaine. I think is the answer to
Possibly a
that.
lot of.
I mean, I had to take like 30 milligrams of Adderall just to do that saber bubbling I was doing in CCP up in Declan. Yeah,
Just
like
casually
So,
talking about abusing medication on stream.
Update on grid. Update on the grid. The Titan is safe. It's still on grid, but it's not bubbled. It's just sat there now. There's no hostiles on grid.
There were never any hostiles there.
Okay, it was all horde, right? Wasn't it?
It was all horde.
It was all horde pretending.
You know that like somewhere someone is shouting at that guy to warp. Like someone is screaming at him.
I know he sat still. I don't know what he's doing.
Maybe he doesn't have a fit that's conducive to capping up, like
I
that
think
one
this is probably
time.
the safest thing for him to do right now, because if he suddenly warps off to some random direction and gets caught again, that's a total disaster. Right now, everything's stable, homeostasis. I think where he is right now is probably one of the safest places he can be.
Yeah, he needs to jump out, but he can't probably because his cap is probably all fucked because he's
Bingo.
probably bridge fit or something.
I mean, you say that, but there's fact. Like,
Well, there's facts that should be giving him feeding him
test facts
cap, right?
have cap transfer, don't
Oh,
they?
okay.
So I think they do.
Well, they should. I mean, if they
Yeah.
don't,
I'm pretty sure the
No.
master race faxes have. Yeah.
Oh, is that a goon bombing run?
Where
Oh,
is
no,
this
the dude-
happening? Whereabouts
The
is
dude
this
streaming
happening?
just walked off. It's on a station in a. I can't tell because the stream's censored.
Is it on a
let's
station?
give maximum information right now. Like, where is it
Hold on.
exactly? What planet is? What's the best warp in?
okay.
Can you
I'm
get
here.
us a warp in?
I'm here.
Can I put my? Can you give me a Sino in there? That's the real question.
I mean, for a price.
I was an in-it bombing
Redline, I wasn't
run.
asking you.
It was an
Yeah,
in-it bombing run
wow.
that didn't work. Shout out to Kurt, who's feeding me the live info because he's on grid. 4GQ, it's in red line.
Yeah, I'm here. Everything's blue.
Yeah, and it just did
The life of an Olsec
besides that.
pilot.
But yeah, fight is over.
Does that mean that TTT officially has live reporters on the ground?
Yes.
On the ground?
On the.
Here's what it looks like. And we'll dig in here. I don't even see the Titan anymore. All right, well. Oh, they're saying we lost audio? Apparently. Is it back now? Okay. How about now? Is that better?
and we sang our favorite Backstreet Boys songs to each other over
Wow.
week. Yeah, I know.
You guys have
Well,
favorites?
when our corp was founded, one of the names we were considering was Backstreet Boys.
Holy shit!
Perfect.
Our biggest eve regret was not going with that name.
Oh my god, you could play so much Backstreet Boys through all of your fucking E videos too. It'd be cancerous as fuck.
Exactly.
But really funny though.
Instead, we ended up with a stupid name and a stupid recruitment video with a stupid song. But
I still can't hear anybody on the
That's that.
stream. Am I?
That's
Is
that
this
super meme one.
me?
You mute us?
I don't know, dude. Let's see.
It's because Redline's streaming the fucking sound from his video.
Oh, okay, got it.
Is Dr. Dre trapped in your basement? Oh wait, dead in your basement? Something like that.
Yeah, I can hear people on stream now.
Oh.
Yeah, same. That's weird. I don't really understand why that's happening. But whatever, it doesn't matter to me.
I blame Twitch.
Yeah, fuck Twitch, right?
And
Anyways,
CCP.
we are
I
at
blame-
the we'll hang out here and watch for a while, but we are at the end of the proper show. So do you guys want to do final thoughts tonight? Or do we just want to say goodbye for the camera?
I've got to go in a second, so can I give my final thought?
Yeah, we'll go bottom to top.
Oh.
So Vert, you're first.
My final thought is how long is it gonna be before Ranger Regiment realizes that if they betray goons, they can keep their ratting space? That's my final thought. The answer is not very long. Spoilers.
Okay, Sager, do you have a final thought for me?
Well, you skipped Thick Yoshi. What about Thick Yoshi's final
He
thoughts?
just got in.
Yep, I did.
It's past your bedtime, Yoshi.
He's still. Why does everybody say that to me all the time?
It's because you're 12 and it's past your bedtime.
All right, Sager, do you have a final thought for me?
Honestly, I couldn't get a word in inchwise tonight, so my final thoughts pretty much are Sword Dragon obviously taught Initiative how to retreat, and yeah, that's about it.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, and Redline 3 times a week.
Always that. Okay. Rain is muted, so we'll go to Loro.
Thanks for having me. Please subscribe to my OnlyFans.
Sexy.
Okay. Loki.
I'm going to do a shout out to Banana Republic Dot, a corp that I started a few days ago, of which I am CEO. Recruitment is now currently open. It is made up of a group of intrepid capsuleers that believe that free market game economics are a thing. This means that you will never pay a single cent in taxes beginning the first day you join. We are looking for experienced players who want to make some money and fuck some shit up. So come to Banana Republic Dot because it's more than just where Redline buys his pants.
How do you spell banana?
If you need to ask how to spell banana, you're too young to be awake at this time.
Just look at any Gwen Stefani music video, you'll figure it out.
I just searched it up.
Well, I'd like to say, shouts out to everybody who's on here tonight. Thank you. It's a lot of fun. And I also like to promote a new corporation out there, the Rain City Bitch Pigeons Corporation in Eve. There's definitely recruiting, and we don't do anything right because we're the Bitch Pigeons.
It's Seattle's new hockey team.
Okay. Coat, do you have any final thoughts for us? I know we brought you to talk a little bit about Pravi, but it didn't seem like there was a lot of time because there's this corpse in space that I'm focused on. So do you
No,
have
it's
any?
no worries. No.
Oh.
Thanks for having me on. It was a good time.
Oh, did you see LB's final thoughts in chat?
Yeah, I don't know why he hasn't gotten his mug yet, but the only thing I can think of is that the original service, because he was the first one that won one. I think that service is really slow right now.
Yeah.
It's on its way though. I know this for a fact. I'm gonna regret this immediately, but Brisk, do you have a final thought for us? Okay, Brisk is asleep. We can move on. Apollo? Okay,
What?
Apollo. Okay. Do you have a final thought for us today?
No, I'm just happy I got my 500 mil.
Okay, fair.
I love you,
Bill?
Redline.
Yep. 3 fleets a week. All right, Bill?
Yeah. What's up? Oh, final thoughts. Okay. Well, I'd have to say that my final thought of the night is going to be how the landscape will look in a few weeks or a couple months whenever Snuff really makes progress on their new rental empire and where NC's revenue is going to be coming from.
Okay, Rich?
My final thoughts I will actually address to Vertiso, and that is Ranger Regiment has an incentive for this war to end or to betray goons, because the sooner they do that, they can sooner unite with their owner, Arby and Bangos. And if they can unite and combine, perhaps they can finally fend off the looming threat that is fraternity.
When you say looming threat, you mean anyone that might stop that RMT?
That too.
All right. Well, that's been final thoughts with everybody. So now I can make a mark. And that's it for the real show. So from me and the rest of the Blue Crescent crew, we'll see you next time